The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle, inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Uh-oh, Jay, you're muted, Jay? Are you muted?
He's on the delay.
Oh, you're on the delay. Sorry, Jay. Oh, it's like
oh, can you not
treating
hear
it
me?
like it's a.
No,
No,
we
we
can
can hear you.
Now we can.
You were on a slight delay. I think you're caught up now. Say something. Okay, good. Yeah,
Okay.
There it is. You didn't put your face on the screen, Jay.
Oh, am I doing that? Okay.
Jay. Jay.
I'm usually doing it, but I'm getting.
Oh.
Ready. Sorry.
Oh wait, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I apologize, Jay. I thought you
I
usually
haven't-
one doing that, but I guess it's Moses.
Yeah.
I stopped doing it, and Mo took up the mantle.
Yeah.
But I can do it. Yeah, I could do it.
It's okay. It's okay. My bad. I blamed you, and it wasn't your fault.
I blame Larry.
Yes. Next, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cow. Uh-oh. He's rolling a joint. No, he's our resident Dark Knight detective, Oz.
These cans of an undisclosed drink that we are not sponsored by are ass. Like every time I pour it into my mug, it's just spilling everywhere. And then the dog drank it. No, he's drunk.
Did I miss drunk?
What?
Sorry.
Next, he is the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Madden.
Hey, I'm still getting the.
Uh-oh.
I'm still coming down from Comic-Con.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
There it is. As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mir Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today because it is finally, it's been so long, but we have an actual Comic-Con recap. So we're going to talk to you all about the Forum's Comic-Con experience. We'll talk about some of the announcement and news that has come out of Comic-Con. And, if you all want to talk to us about your experiences or your thoughts on some of the stories that came out of San Diego Comic-Con 2022, we'd love to hear it. And we'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. But before we do, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not have happened. So appreciate you, Scott. And so let's go ahead and tell you good people how it is you can get down with the forum.
I think we forgot the intern at Comic-Con. Oh, no, here she is.
No.
Want to get in on the action?
Wait.
Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
All right. Well, I'm so happy that she made it through Comic-Con.
I was supposed to have all these assets ready, and it turns out I didn't because I kept watching the Black Panther trailer.
Got you.
Yeah.
Look, it happens. There's a lot of work that has not gotten done because of the Black Panther trailer. So, Wakanda forever. So I'm not mad at you.
Atlantis forever.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. Here we go. We're before we go further, we want to go ahead and make sure to mention that, if you're in chat, if you want to talk to us, you can jump into the YouTube chat, which you can watch. Hopefully you're watching there, or you're watching on Twitch. You can jump into Twitch chat. Either way, or you can just call in fantasticforum.live. You can become a part of the show, become the 5th member of Fantastic Forum. Do we have a witty chat comment to add? Witty chat comment here.
Nope.
Tiger Claw says, "What's up, Fantastic Forum? Any of you guys seen Nope? Hopefully you brought Larry along for it. We all know how much he loves horror movies."
It doesn't look scary.
Listen, now I will say that I agree with you that the preview doesn't look that scary to me. However, I'm sure that there's some tense moments here or there, because the movie is called Nope, and I know that like look, I was about to say Jordan Peterson did that. No, but we're talking about Jordan Peele. I was about to say Jordan Peterson. I was like, wait a minute. Like in my head, I was like, that don't sound right.
Like, I knew you shouldn't have done the show right after our meeting with the accounts payable guy.
But Jordan Peele named the movie Nope for a particular reason. He was like, when black people see what's happening in the movie, that's the reaction they're gonna have, right? He's like, nope. And I am one of those people, I'm sure, that will feel that way at a certain point in the movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm planning on it.
I thought you were more against like the gore kill stuff. This not necessarily tense. I mean, obviously, tense is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, but I thought
he gets tense taking out the garbage out at night.
Well, you're so silly.
I know where he lives.
I do, but look, it doesn't matter. That's real life. That's real life. I'm brave.
I can't even knock him for that.
Only every smart person does that. You never know. No, but the fact of the matter is, I haven't seen it. Have any of you all seen it?
Nope.
Nah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Good. Thank you, Jay. I was about to say, I was like, dude, if Jay hasn't seen it, I don't understand what's happening. Jay, real quick, how did you like Nope?
I thought it was good. Like, it's interesting. The more of Jordan Peele's movies that I watch, the more and more I realize that he's not scary. Like, he doesn't know how to be scary. He can be, what is the word? Like, he could be a little off-putting, but
I feel like that's not along the spectrum of scary at all.
No, it is. Like Us, it didn't affect me, but I could see how that would be off-putting, seeing doppelgangers going at originals. Like, I could see how that could, like, put some people on edge, even though that movie was, to like,
a comedy.
It felt like a comedy to me. Like, I wasn't scared at all. I was way too busy laughing to get scared. And no, it's not scary. I wouldn't even call it like a horror movie. This was more just like an adventure movie.
Yeah, it looks like a sci-fi thriller to me.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And so I basically just got to temper my expectations. Like, when I go to see one of his movies, it's not a horror movie. It's just a social commentary with a little bit of bite, maybe. But if you're going to get scared, you're not going to do it with Jordan Peele. Like, even Get Out.
Yeah,
wasn't.
I was trying to get the last drop out. Sorry, Jay.
Even Get Out, where the tension comes from in that movie is the feeling of, it's the oddness and the feeling of being trapped.
Yeah.
Like being actually stuck in the metaphysical thing where you can see out, but you can't act. You can't control what's going on. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's more like an innate primal fear type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't call it necessarily. Well, yeah, like not scary, but it does tap into an innate primal fear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's the one I
absolutely.
would call like that is the one movie. Yeah, I would say that's a horror movie. But Us was not. It was
Mhm.
one. He goes way too hard with the jokes for it to be scary, and honestly, just evil doppelgangers aren't inherently scary. Like it does come down to the writing and the situation and what is going on.
That's what the initial version of me said before I got him.
Right. It's like, look, trust me, I 100% believe that we're talking to the evil doppelganger of Jay. Like, like Jay's like, evil doppelgangers are actually somewhat misunderstood. You know? And I'm like, damn it, they got my friend.
Not mine. Mine is sexually hard.
Look, we all, with the exception of maybe Oz, saw the one episode of Gravity Falls where he creates a bunch of clones.
Yeah.
Like that is pure comedy. Like
Yeah.
it really just depends on what is going on.
That's the beauty of Jordan Peele in the horror space right now, because to me, he's what comic book horror is to me and what Twilight Zone is to me. So it's kind of horror. You could have your sci-fi in it because especially it's that old school type of horror, that B movie type of horror where the sci-fi and the horror kind of go hand in hand. And that's kind of what I see in Nope. That's kind of what I see in Get Out and Us. And then and shit, he fucking revived the Twilight Zone for Paramount Plus too. So he does have that. That's where he goes, and that's where you can have your little sardonic humor, like how Joe sees it, but also the scary part. Like there's some episodes that I explain of like Twilight Zone to somebody and they get creeped out, like the puppet episode. Like there's people that get scared with that episode and other people that don't. And it's just
fucking hate puppets.
Yeah, exactly. Like and that's the thing, like seeing some creepy or something with insects, Jay, you'd be really like not I wouldn't say you get scared, but you have that spine tingling in it, and it's like it could be a comedy about fucking spiders crawling up your back, but you're gonna be tense in that moment, even though it's fucking
literally like man, when I saw Arachnophobia, which was
right.
A horror comedy,
and that's
like I was like, oh, for like even when I was laughing, I still had that feeling.
Yeah. And that's where I think that's where Jordan Peele's sector in horror is, because Stephen King's like that too, where you take the mundane and like like Cujo, it's the dog. It's a story of losing a family member and not being able to do anything about it because he's out of control. It's an allegory for addiction or alcoholism or whatever. But it's also like a tragedy. But for somebody that has like fear of dogs or something, like Cujo's a fucking horror movie,
Like
right,
100% believe. Oh, go ahead.
That's what I'm talking about with tempering my expectations, because Nope actually has an impressive body count for this movie. Like there's an impressive body count that we don't see. Like it literally fucking happens off screen, and I'm like, okay, this is Jordan Peele. Like he's not trying to scare me; he's trying to make me think and laugh. So, okay, not scary.
But I wouldn't. Would you like? Do you feel like tempering your expectations is good, or is it like, okay, I'm watching a Jordan Peele movie? Yeah,
that's what I mean. It's like,
okay,
like for ordinary horror, I would still have my horror expectations. For Jordan Peele, I'll have my Jordan Peele expectations.
Yeah,
but I will say that I feel
what
like
I'm saying is that like Jordan Peele, like to a certain, at least for me, or maybe Stephen King, Rob Zombie's another one, Stanley Kubrick. Like if I'm gonna go see a movie, it could be any genre, but I know I'm gonna get a certain flavor because it's him doing it, and I think that's what I that's how I see Jordan Peele. I guess, like, yeah, maybe they're classified as horror movies, but they're just Jordan Peele movies. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
at the same time, though, I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Peele has like, in some ways, fallen into the same kind of marketing trap that M. Night Shyamalan, like.
But why is it a trap? Like, because that's the same as it's a Tarantino. Like Tarantino's the same trap. Like,
no.
But he's
Tarantino,
regarded as a
it's a different thing. Tarantino gets regarded as, oh, this is a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is what they did to M. Night Shyamalan is M. Night Shyamalan would make movies and they would try to market it as the same tone as like The Sixth Sense. And it's like, but he didn't make a Sixth Sense movie. He made a different movie, but they marketed it like The Sixth Sense. That's a different thing. And, you know, that I don't feel like that happens to Tarantino. Whatever movie Tarantino makes,
right,
if they try to market it different than what he's intending, Tarantino says something and things change. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that, I don't think that happened with M. Night Shyamalan. And I don't know if that's the same kind of, like, that very well could be the same kind of thing that's happening with Jordan Peele, because, you know, Nope doesn't come across to me like a horror movie, but I feel like they're trying to market it that way. And that very well might be not what Jordan Peele's initial intent was. Like, he made the movie he made, but they're like, well, people know you from Get Out and Us, so you're a horror movie guy. So we got to market it like a horror movie. And it's like, you don't have to. Like, you can market it as a different movie, and because I'm who I am, like, people will just be like, oh, I'm going to go see the next Jordan Peele movie. But, you know, cast might be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens with studios sometimes. So Jordan Peele is not the dude. He doesn't have the clout yet to be like, no.
I just kept imagining him in that skit where he's sweating.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan Peele, pitch me a movie. It's like, oh, I got a romantic comedy. Oh, a horror romantic comedy. And then he just starts
exactly. No, for real though. Like, it would not surprise me if that's what's happening to a degree. Yeah. And, you know, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Nope isn't, like, doesn't have some tense elements to it, but, like, just even what they made, like, I know that when they talk about it like it's a horror movie, but it doesn't look like a horror movie to me. It looks like Super 8. Sci-fi kind of thriller. So I'm just like, I'll go see that joint, because it does not look like it's supposed to be scary at all. It looks like it has, like, some moments that are, like, you know, tense, but it's like so did Twister, you know? You know, like, that's not a horror movie.
That comic book we read where the house is, like, haunted and cursed and all this stuff, but it's really about
more specific.
Yeah, Jay, you brought it up. That one comic with the couple. Like, where it's kind of just about them, like, trying to buy a house. Yeah, it just has all this shit around it.
Right. I hate this. I hate this place.
Oh yeah, I remember that book. That's a good book.
Yeah, and that's the kind of vibe that where it has, like, the horror elements, but it's about them, like, live like a young couple buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
So
go ahead.
Before we leave Jordan Peele, there was a story I put into our Discord concerning him needing to put a fan in his place. Where the fan basically said, like, he is, like, the all-time best horror director.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan Peele was like, no, I won't have you talking shit about John Carpenter.
Mm-hmm. That's what's real, though. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's good for him to give props where he feels props is due, especially considering, like, you know, I mean, look, I love what Jordan Peele has done, and I believe 100% that Jordan Peele is a dude that we'll be talking about decades from now. However,
what? John Carpenter as the best horror director, Jay? Like, do you agree?
I'm not saying that.
That's what Jordan says.
Yeah, but
I will say John Carpenter, there were a lot of things people were doing that he did better. And there's a lot of, and when, he did things better than they had been done before. And he influenced people into the future. Like
Okay.
a lot of people have taken influence from him. So when you when you put those two facts together with the breadth of his movies, how he's like really like how he's not afraid to try things, and he's not afraid to try things, and especially when the studios aren't fucking with him, he can actually be really interesting and inventive. Okay. So I would say he is, like, if he's not the greatest, he's definitely in that
Mount Rushmore type.
Yeah,
I saw him more as like an action guy because he did Big Trouble in Little China, right?
Yeah, but
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
The Escape from Murder. Oh, he did that Roddy Piper movie.
Yeah, they live. Yeah. And that's why, like, you know, and then there's a Thing and Halloween and all those too.
But
and was it The Last House on the Left was his too, or is that Wes Craven?
Ghost of Mars was his, which was terrible. Also, but
Dracula 2000.
He's actually going out there and trying stuff.
Did he do Dracula 2000?
I think so.
Oh wow! But also too, I would just put out here, you got to consider the source, right? Like, and that's not a diss on Jordan Peele.
No.
It's just more the idea of, we just had a whole conversation about how his whole take on the horror genre is a different thing than a lot of people's. And so it makes sense that from his perspective, the top horror person would be a take that might be a little bit different than what maybe the majority of people think of as like
the reason I ask is because it's one of those things, like when I saw that story in our Discord, I was like, man, is he really like the best? Like, I started thinking about what I like in a horror director, what I like in horror movies, and things like that. But I didn't come to a consensus. But I'm like, man, let me see what Jay thinks too. Because if I'm having this thought, there's a chance that Jay has it, and I'm not going to talk to Jay on my free time.
Damn. But it's interesting though, because what I can say is, you know, you're listing John Carpenter movies.
Yeah.
You know, just a moment ago. And I'm sitting here like, wow, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that too. Yeah. I've seen that too. And I'm like, a lot of what he's made from a horror perspective, I've actually seen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that might mean something in regards to, like, because, like, I mean, I haven't seen all of, well, as far as I know, right? Like, Jordan Peele's only made this is his third movie, right? Like, his third major. Yeah. Okay, so I saw Get Out. I didn't see Us because Us looked like it might have been a little too intense for me.
It's so good,
It's not.
Okay, I might mess with it.
Whether it's too funny or not intense enough or not horror, it's a good movie. And
And Jay talked to me about it, and what he told me about it sounds amazing. Like, it sounds like a great story, and so I might watch it here at home one of these days. Like, I'm planning on seeing Nope.
Like, to me, just with the set design and like, I didn't want to, like, I got Comic-Con to talk about, but Us is like a modern Kubrick movie, like a Stanley Kubrick movie, like Clockwork Orange, where Clockwork Orange could be considered a little horror depending on what perspective you have, what character you empathize with, and that's where that's where Us is, where it kind of challenges your perception of what a horror movie is.
Right.
You know, and to me, that makes a good movie, not just a good horror movie. That's a good movie. Period.
Well,
you know,
here's the thing. Like, the point more so that I'm making is that because, like, he's made 3 movies, 2 of the 3 of them I was already planning on watching on my own, and then you all are making the argument you should watch that third one that you weren't planning on watching, and it's just like I'm not saying that he's not horror. I'm saying that horror I can watch is a different thing than horror I can't watch, because there's horror movies that I'm like, I'm just not going to watch that, and it's just not going to happen because, you know, either I don't feel like the mental trauma I'm going to have to go through or the story isn't worth the mental trauma that I'm gonna have to go through, or I just have zero interest, right? Like, there's no part of me that ever is like, you know what I really need to see is Human Centipede. I never need to watch that movie. Never once. No, it's not that good. It's what it is.
We have a
You
blurb
like
on
it.
we have a blurb on the DVD cover, Larry.
Listen, it's not for me.
Now I know what we're watching when you come over.
Nah, homie, I ain't watching no Human Centipede. Like, look, I don't need to watch that joint.
You're gonna watch Oz's Human Centipede, the ones he's been building in that bunker.
Listen, I was watching the South Park episode with the Human Centipede with the friggin' iPad, right? And I was just like, I hate this. I was like, and not that I hate South Park, I just hate the concept. Like, it's hilarious, but it does the thing it's supposed to do. I'm just like, ugh. Like, I don't even know if what happens in South Park happens in Human Centipede, but based on South Park's record of how they lampoon things, I'm just like, that joint probably all happens, and that's terrible and disgusting, and I don't want any part of it in that actual movie. I'm happy I can just watch this and be disgusted by that part. So, yeah.
Alfonso says John Carpenter definitely changed up the horror genre. With Peele, we still need to give it a bit more time to see how much of a change he makes.
Yeah, like what his lasting influence is. I could totally see that. And here's the thing: it's not like he said it. Somebody else said it to him, and he's like, "Nah, you like, you got it all effed up." Which is admirable because, especially in Hollywood, how many people, like, there's plenty of people in Hollywood. There are people that would have made their first movie and would have taken that compliment. Like, oh yeah, thank you. What? You made one movie. This dude has made 3 movies that are all critically acclaimed, and he's still like, no, man, look, I need to stop you right here. So it's cool that that he has that kind of humility still. But anyway, listen, enough of Nope. Thank you for the question, Tiger Claw. We do appreciate that, and we hope you enjoyed it. But we should talk about Comic-Con because I'm sure I know that there's a lot to cover because I was here at home with one teardrop. Like, looks like fun.
You love your family.
I would say that's unnecessary because you went to the real Comic-Con in November.
I went to I definitely went to a Comic-Con that was more focused on comics,
and it was in San Diego.
It was in San Diego. It was at the convention center. Yeah. Listen, and here's the thing. I had a fantastic time. Like, it was like, I think about that joint probably about every 3 weeks because it was so cool because we were all there. It was my birthday weekend. We instituted the Hall of F. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was like so many parts of this whole thing that I was like, man, that was great. I can't wait till we can do that again. You know what I'm saying? And, obviously that didn't happen this past weekend in 2022, but who knows? Maybe 2023 we can make that happen and see how that goes and how that feels. Because, I feel like if we had a switch, obviously getting a setup like we had for special edition is probably going to be a lot more money. But if we can swing it, might
we just buy a house nearby. Like, we just
buy a house. That's it. That's what we'll do. Jay,
the median income is the median income is to get a house there right now is about $144,000 a year. I think with the four of us, we could swing that. Like, and we just say that we're all just married and we'll get a loan because they can't discriminate against us just because we're 4 dudes.
Does that mean we have to marry each other?
They just have to know that we're partnered with each other.
We're it's like that one movie where they pretended to be married for the health insurance.
Yeah, Mo and Larry. I mean, Chuck and Larry.
Okay. But yeah. Oh, Tiger Claw has something to say.
We're gonna get to that, Tiger Claw.
What do you think of all the announcements from Marvel? They announced so much stuff that they went far into the future and announced stuff for Phase 6. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. You're right. We will get to it. But But here's what I want to ask, because I didn't get to go. Jay, you did not get to go either, unfortunately. But Moses and Oz, you all both went to Comic-Con. So talk to us. Like, tell us what was Comic-Con like on the ground in 2022. It's the first in-person show since 2019, right?
Second.
Yeah, Yes,
Second.
it's 2019. Huh?
Yeah.
Second.
I'm sorry.
That was the thing, and it
You're
happened.
right.
And don't you
It was
ever
a
take that
thing.
away from me.
It did happen. I don't mean to discount special edition.
And nobody got sick from it. Over here, I'm looking at my artist feed. Everybody's got fucking COVID. And you know why they did this shit? All the artists at Artist Alley got COVID. Like Joe Benitez, Jill Thompson. Like they all.
Everybody got COVID?
Everybody in Artist Alley fucking got COVID.
My bad.
Damn.
But you know why that is, man? You know why that is?
Why?
Because fucking Comic-Con, this Comic-Con, not special edition Comic-Con, this fucking shitty-ass regular Comic-Con fucking crammed all the artists into 1/3 of the space.
Really?
Like,
I think there's like more artists, not a lot, but a few more artists than there was a special edition,
like
in a smaller space.
And I asked Oz, I'm like, Oz, did you feel like they shrinked it? And he goes, dude, like, I went through it and I couldn't stop to look at things because I had to keep moving because there's people just piling in. And I'm like,
so help me understand here, because I get what you're saying, because like Comic-Con Special Edition had plenty of artists, which was awesome. It was awesome. Right. Not only did it have a lot of artists, but it was awesome because there were so few people there. You actually got to spend a lot of time being able to, like, connect with artists and speak with them and figure out like what it is that you wanted and could get, and just conversation, which was cool. But you're saying more artists in like a quarter of the space. So how does that even work? Like, did they give them like smaller tables? Are they not even like at 6-foot tables? Are they at like 4-foot tables? Like what? Look, are artists like sharing tables? Like what's happening? Like how did that even work?
You remember how at Special Edition we went to talk to Merca and Dolfo, and her guy, I don't want to make it sound weird, but her guy was there, helping her out and stuff.
Yeah.
It was there was a similar situation because walking down the hall and I was, oh, Merca, she's drawing stuff. I'll go see what's up. And I saw like a guy like right next, closer than that guy was at Special Edition, drawing something else, and I look up and it's a totally different name. I'm like,
really? So it really was like two artists to a table.
Especially at the sketch comic art thing, because where they usually have like 8 artists, they had like 16 in the same thing. And I avoided them. I avoided them, period, because I'll never do business with those motherfuckers. Yeah.
But, you're talking about sketch art.
Yeah. And they were like that. So coming in, like, I mean, I guess we should have started with Oz and I getting drunk at the beginning, but
I mean, what's stopping us from going back?
I don't know. We wanted a Comic-Con experience. It says Hexzilla here. It says each artist had a cardboard box. You walk into it and look, that's what it felt like, dude. And Joe Benitez is a dude that I always try to say hi to because he's just a cool dude, period. Like, I've had a few opportunities to talk to him. I
love the way you say Joe Benitez.
Joe Benitez, like, what's wrong with that? Like,
nothing wrong with it. It's the opposite of wrong. It's right. I love it.
I don't like you fetishizing my Los Angeles accent, but there.
I didn't even. Is that what that is?
Anywho, I walked past them and I was gonna stop and say hi, but it's just too crowded and it's too moving, and I'm hungover. Yeah. Not that like the hungover bothers me in it. Look, I interviewed some of my favorite creators hungover, so I can stop. But he's working and he's got his mask on, and something about the mask makes it unpersonable. I don't want to sound like an Orange County dude, but it just does. I'm like, you know what? I talked to another convention. I'll say he was the first one to test positive. So
really,
I'm like, man, I dodged that bullet, and the other ones, like I wanted. I was trying to get Daniel Warren, the dude that draws and writes, do a power bomb to do my was it Mad Balls and Garbage Pail Kids green cover. And I messaged him, but he was too busy. He probably was not looking. So I figured, you know what? If I run into him, I'll just give it to him and he could ship it to me. And Oz and I talked about this while we were drunk before, where it's like, you know, last time I had somebody ship something to me, it took a year. But this might be different. And I bought 2 of them for that reason, because if he has to do that, then I still have one that I can get somebody else to do, you know? And I couldn't get through that artist alley. Like,
really?
Even Liz was like, you sure you don't want to go down this? I went through one aisle and I couldn't stop. Like I said, like I couldn't stop to look at it.
Todd Knock had a corner booth, had a corner table.
Yeah.
And he was drawing. And I'm like, well, okay, he already had his sign sketch list or commission list full, whatever. Like, well, I'll start looking at through his portfolio. Maybe he's got some new stuff, and I'll get something like that. And so, like,
amazing artist.
I'm like getting like pushed from the corner towards the middle. I'm like, well, I'm like right in front of him, and I grab the book there and I start looking through it. I'm like, this does not look like Todd Knox art. What the hell?
Oh,
and I look at the top, Rapmund. Son of a bitch, Rapmund was right there.
That's how Rapmund is amazing too, though.
Yeah, he's great.
I was in front of Todd Knox looking at him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at
so you literally have a different artist's art book that you thought was the artist that was in front of you, but he was actually slightly catty corner.
Yeah, you know I love me some Rapmund, but
yeah, Rapmund's like the DC Todd Knox.
Traces over
the DC Todd Knox. That's why they have the same table together.
Yeah,
he's like, you're me, but at DC, he's like, no, but you're me at Marvel.
Pointing at each other in their Spider-Man cosplay.
That's wild. That's like, listen. Here's the thing. I'm listening to you all speak on it, and I know it's 100% the truth, but it's hard for me to imagine just because I'm just like, what was happening? And
this is Sunday. Sunday's usually the slower day.
The low day.
Way crowded. And I don't know if it was like if they maybe shrunk the floor as a whole. And because I know they did something similar with Anime Expo where the fire marshal really had to come and say, you motherfuckers need to get the fuck out of here. You guys, I don't know why there's so many people here, but like a third of you got to go fuck your mothers. Like, get out of here.
The Funko stuff was like right in front of Artist Alley, and they had like a little village that they built.
Right. And so they kept their village.
Alley?
Yeah. And it's usually there. It's just usually takes that other wall. So it's like Capcom and Blizzard. Right? Capcom and Blizzard usually take the one end, and then Funko take the other end. So Funko, they put Artist Alley next to Funko and then cut Funko in half, and then you had a second Funko somewhere in the middle.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so that's I don't know if the floor plan changed or what, but it felt compressed.
What I will say is I feel 100% based on what you all have told me, and we talked about some of this off air, where it's like it feels to me like you had Comic-Con 2020 that got canceled. And so there were commitments made to Comic-Con 2020 that need to be fulfilled. The idea was those commitments will get filled in 2021. And you had people that were put on probably in 2021 as well. But it turned out there was no Comic-Con in 2021 either.
Yeah.
Well, so now you have commitments in 2020 and in 2021 that have to be fulfilled. Yeah. Now we're in 2022, and I'm sure. Well, listen, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that Comic-Con learned its lesson, because who knows? They might have sold stuff because they're like, we don't know who's going to show up and who's not going to show up. We have all these tickets of people that from 2020 and from 2021 that are eligible to show up, but we don't know who is and who isn't, right? Or at least they feel like they don't know who is or who isn't. I mean, and that goes for whether you're talking about attendees, whether you're talking about vendors, whether you're talking about talent and special guests. So, I mean, even though it's like, I'm sure they're sending things to people like, hey, you got to let us know if you're gonna, if you're gonna honor your thing from this last year, the year before. But at the same time, I'm sure there's a part of them that's kind of like, well, we got to try to see if we can honor these commitments that we made because people paid money, or
I'm pretty sure they knew. Well, not like special guest celebrities, all that, but attendees. I'm pretty sure they had a number for that because
right.
They sent me my badge. I didn't have to pick it up when I got there.
Right. And vendors, right? So, but here's the thing: there are people that will come. Like, you can pick up your badge at Comic-Con too.
I don't even know if you can do that this year.
I remember getting emails to confirm my address because they were going to ship it.
Remember how we had to check for our vaccines because we're lefty liberals. We had to go to there's a site to they could check. This site was at the Omni, across from the Omni Hotel. Like, you had to go like 3 blocks away to get your verification and then go to the convention.
Really?
And they were not as strict as
remember. As special edition?
Yeah. And that's why you have all these artists getting sick.
And that's the whole thing, right? Like, this is, and I won't lie to you, this played into a little bit into the whole idea of going to Comic-Con this year for me too, where I'm like, there were a lot of people that were like, seems like that's going to be like a super spreader event of the summer here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, did it feel like I understand that Artist Alley got COVID, or parts of Artist Alley got COVID, and of course, there's a lot of people like they're interacting with a lot of the populace there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there are other people that are just like regular attendees that, and I don't, I mean, I'm sure we can look to see if people are like, oh, COVID's like search COVID and Comic-Con 2022, but I'm just saying, like, obviously some attendees. There's an attendee that got COVID from Comic-Con.
That heck hit it right on the head right here where it says limited edition Comic-Con variation. Like, there's going to be a variant called Comic-Con variant.
Look, even before, like, there's always the nerd flu.
Right, exactly. Right. And the thing is, they were enforcing masks, but I don't want to stereotype.
Enforcing it like they did a special edition.
Well, yeah. But there was not enough people to actually tell people, "Hey, man, can you just wear your mask real quick?"
I saw plenty of people without.
So there's like, and I hate to say it, like, I don't want to be that dude, but there was a lot of tall white guys with camo, not wearing masks, like, I get it. I don't give a shit. If I was scared, I'd stay the fuck home.
Right.
Like, I had a good life. So
Mo's ready to check in if that's what it comes to. For comics.
I just want to make it after I see She-Hulk because I saw that trailer they released at Comic-Con too. So we'll talk about that a little later. But
we will.
It's definitely one of those things. Like, but the convention could do whatever the fuck it wants to prevent it. Oz and I were at a bar the night before that was packed. Like, like, not even the cosplayers had masks. Even if you just leave the convention center and cross the street, you're at a bigger super spreader event because now you got these weird. It's not even the Christians anymore telling you you're going to hell and die. It's the anti-vaxxers telling you, take off your fucking mask, you fucking pussy.
It's like, my God, how come you don't have your mask on? And he's like, because of my freedoms. It's like, but you're dressed as friggin' Scorpion. Like, you're supposed to have a mask. It's like, you had your mask down for your freedoms.
Oz had a weird run-in with one of those people. He thought it was the Westboro Church, but it wasn't. It was just anti-vax people.
Did you really, Oz?
It's like it's the exact same setup we see. And I was telling Mo, I really think that at this point they're not real. They're a publicity stunt to get.
Who's not real?
The protesters. Because I always thought, well, there's the religious people. Yeah, they're gonna protest and that exact same setup. The signs look exactly the same, but they're all like anti-vaccine.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude,
I really when I told them at the bar, well, we were imbibing coffee, I told, I told them, Oz, like you really like the Westboro Church just decided they're okay with gay people. They just don't want vaccines. Like that's all it is. They just changed methods. Yeah, because that's really what you know. And I really think they do pay people to protest. Like they put a Craigslist ad because even Christians aren't like look anybody. Fuck it. I'll say it. I don't give a shit. Christians are stupid, but not that stupid. You know, like they're not as stupid as the Westboro people. Stupid, like Westboro.
I identify as Christian, right?
I know, but you weren't assigned Christian at birth, so I'm respecting that.
To be fair, Mo thinks anybody who believes in any religion is stupid.
I identify as Christian as well, which Mo knows.
I'm Catholic. That's
We had a whole theological 2 haircuts ago. It was a whole philosophical theological thing there that would have elevated our YouTube channel had I pressed record on the camera. but I love Christians as individuals. I hate Christians as ideologists. So
I mean, I get you.
That's like I guess where like, Joe, I love you to death, man. And somebody tells you you're stupid for a Christian, I will fuck them up too. But I'm gonna tell you, Jay, sorry, Jay, but I don't think like
the Pope went to Canada and apologized to the First Nation folks.
Oh wow!
Did I do that? Oh, the Pope,
not you. The Pope.
Pope rhymes with Mo. Sorry.
It does not.
But the Pope can go
only if it's them.
Look, this is a whole derailment. But the Pope can go apologize. But is he going to apologize to all the suicide gay dudes, all the failed family relationships because the church didn't accept gays?
Listen, I mean. You gotta listen.
The thing is, his apology means nothing because his God means nothing.
Oh, I disagree. The apology meant something to the First Nation folks.
Church did to the First Nation people. You can't fix what the church did to the First Nation people.
No, but you can at least acknowledge it. That's a big step.
I guess. I mean, like if you know what? I guess that's
the first pope that's ever done it.
Look, I guess that's the beauty of the society we live in. Like, you don't have to actually do work to fix something. You just have to accept you have a fucking problem.
Well, you can't change the past, but I'm just saying. Listen, we live in a country that won't even say a person won an election legitimately. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, acknowledgement is a big deal today in this day and age. It's like, oh, you're actually acknowledging something that actually happened. Thank you.
I still want to say that that Roe versus Wade vote doesn't count because Clarence Thomas should count as 3/5 of a person.
Oh, see. See.
Look, you want to play by those rules, Clarence Thomas? I'll play by those rules.
Dude. What's the opposite of a hot take? Jesus Christ. Man, Moses. Oh God. Anyway, back to Comic-Con.
Look, Larry, to get that, cleanse your palate from that, from the show we do, the show you want me to do with you week in and week out. I'm going to give you a little bit of a treat on what I saw at Comic-Con and something I got. I haven't told you guys. I didn't send a picture to you guys. Oz knows what it is, but you're going to get a video treat. You, along with the audience, you're seeing this for the first time. If I can find it here, I should have uploaded.
Both Mo with the Comic-Con exclusive.
Somebody introduce.
Yeah.
What? This 2022 white words?
No. It's better than that, but it's not showing up here, and I uploaded it. Shit. Fucking StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard. Do better.
No, it was uploading while you were doing. That's why Joe was on a delay because I was uploading it. All right,
Jay,
let me.
Mope made you delay.
Yeah, let me try to do this this way.
Okay. Let us know how we can help.
You know, as packed as Comic-Con was, I honestly believe there's less people there than there were the years right before COVID.
Okay.
No,
that's not it.
What is this?
That's not it. That's fucking
that old.
I was like, this is like somebody's business meeting.
Yeah, no, it was that was
our pre-production meeting with the accounting team. I spent too much on alcohol at Comic-Con, and they don't want to reimburse me. I told them, look, I tried to mitigate our expenses. I stole people's beer and everything.
Look, I saw the picture. And I was like, what is happening?
Damn it. Okay, so long story short, I guess that's not gonna work. You might have to follow us on Instagram or something for that shit. But
he's getting drugs.
Yeah, Stan Sakai, he did a markup on my Venom #1 variant.
Wait, what? Wait, so he put that thing on the right?
Yeah, he drew a little Venom licking the Venom in the cover.
Yeah.
I was like, is that from the strain? It looks like, I'm not mad at it. It looks very cool still. I was just like, what is that?
Yeah, he basically, like, that's the only thing I could get from Artist Alley. Like, I saw Stan Sakai and he was just working on a white cover. That's the video I had. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna film him doing the white cover because you know, I didn't even talk to him because he might have COVID or whatever. Like, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to, because I want to shake his hand and talk to him. Like, he had a lot of orders doing that, and so I'm like, man, he's busy. And then there was people hanging around him, but I guess it's the people that work with him, his kids or whatever. And and he's like, shit, hold on, babe, can you not squeak that? That's
I was like, whose baby is that? No.
Stella squeaking her toy. She wants to.
Oh, that's okay. Look, let the puppy squeak.
It derailed my train of thought.
Should have done a
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
So I see him and he's working on something, and somebody says, we got more stuff here, and I see that Venom #1, which is, I think, like 100-to-1 variant or something that, like, shops would get if they actually ordered that many of Venom #1.
Yeah,
and
really, it's 100-to-1.
He had like 6 of them there, and I'm like, a white cover cost about $500 from Stan Sakai. And I was like, you know what? It's Sunday. You might not finish it. So let me do this. I'll just get the one. And I'm like, can he sign this? It's like, yeah, signature is $20. I'm like, okay. Unless you want a remark, which is another 20. So I'm like, what, 60 total? And
what's
like,
a remark?
That's the little drawing he did on it. Like, the little,
that's kind of cool. I didn't even know. I never heard that term.
Yeah, you can do that. Like, if you get like Alex Ross remark, it's like $1,000 where he just draws something in like silver pen or something on it. Or Tony Moore does that a lot. Like, you can buy old Walking Dead issues, like random. He goes to comic shops, buys the ones they have, and then sells them on his website with a remark for like.
That's actually remarks actually pretty big in the collecting community.
Yeah, and the grading
are so expensive. Like a Jim Lee commission is going to be thousands of dollars.
Right.
A remark, you can get a remark for like couple hundred. You know,
so I didn't even know that was a thing. Wow.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
The thing is, the remarks you can get graded, and the way they changed the grading standards, it counts like as an autograph, so it doesn't damage the grading. Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to do after, is go have it graded, because I'm like, Stan Sakai's gonna die someday. Yeah. But then
you're gonna get it graded for real?
No, I didn't do that shit.
Oh.
I'm against grading. So, like,
you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Comics are to be read, and if you have something beautiful like that spoke to you at a certain moment in time, you should be able to open it for somebody. Yeah, and let them read it,
No, but do you feel like Well, you know what? We'll have that conversation another day. We got Comic-Con stuff to talk about today. We'll talk about that next week.
Next haircut.
Yeah, like there you go. Bam! I love it. Interesting. So, yeah, go ahead. Continue.
So it was $60, and they're like, "Oh, okay." Took out the cash and like, "Oh, it's like that." And I'm like, "Well, like it's not like I can go over there and get a bunch of shit. Like it's all crap." They were Stan Sakai, Humberto Ramos, even Joe Benitez, and a couple other people. Like they had their booths right outside of Artist Alley. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like right where like in the two people to a table type of situation that we kind of described. They had their own like small press booth out like right off by where they have all the t-shirts and stuff, and so they had like I guess that's the weird setup where they had like kind of small press people. Sometimes it's artists and stuff that do their own thing, and that's where like Humberto Ramos and shit usually is, but he's usually along, I guess, the north wall, and then they moved them to across. So I guess they wanted the wall open. But yeah, I got that Stan Sakai, and I'm like, man, like this is I love that. like I was able to get that, but that's all I really got this year because it was just too much. Yeah, it's just too hard.
Let me ask you this question: do you all feel like Comic-Con 2022 was like a super spreader event? Or do you feel like? Yeah, I mean, no, really though. I mean, like, do you? I didn't get to ask the actual question before. So, like, do you feel like this event should not have happened because of what's going on with COVID right now, or no?
No, I think it should have definitely happened. Is it a super spreader event? Is it a super spreader event? Absolutely. But fuck them. We all look. I got all my vaccines. Like I even got the old fat person vaccine. So I did everything. That's like the fourth Moderna. Like no, the fourth Moderna. Like
we got a fourth. How'd you get a fourth vaccine? I think you had to be like 50. Right. Oh no, they changed it recently.
Hey, you know how it is.
Money Magnum.
Yeah.
Oh, that I'm not old enough. Am I old enough now? What does Mr. Grant think about if I'm old enough?
Right. It ain't Mr. Grant. It's fucking Abraham Lincoln. I pay $5 a month for CVS Extra Care.
I'm not mad at that.
Hey, so I did what I got to do. If I get sick from it, then that's it. Like I prepared myself for getting sick, along with wearing a mask.
Realistically, we're here. It's Wednesday.
Right.
So if you or Oz were going to be sick from Comic-Con, you probably would have been showing symptoms by now, right?
My ear felt cupped on Monday, but by Tuesday I was fine.
I mean, realistically, it's like Oz, you got to Comic-Con Saturday, right?
Friday night.
Okay, so you were there Friday. Yeah. Mo, you didn't go until Sunday, right?
Right. But I was at the bar Saturday night.
You were where?
At the bar.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, I mean, at this point, Oz, if you were going to get sick with COVID because of Comic-Con starting Friday night, like you probably would have been like showing some sort of symptoms by now. Like this is Wednesday.
At this point, the latest strains for someone of my age present as mild allergy symptoms. My company actually made me take a COVID test because I had allergy symptoms. I knew it was allergy symptoms because I took a Claritin and I felt better.
Right.
Take a test. It was negative, but they're like, "Well, you have."
So when you say your company, they made you take a test. Wait, they made you take
a test because I had
this past Monday?
No. This was like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Man, we don't care about that week.
Yeah, we're talking about in the here and now, Oz. Here and now, goddamn.
And what I'm saying is
the protocol.
I might not show symptoms.
Right, you could be asymptomatic. But so from your own perspective, like here,
now, if you're asking, do I believe that the event should or should not take place based on COVID?
Yes.
No. And I would have said the same thing a year ago.
No, what?
No, I don't believe it should not have taken place. I just in my head, I just realized how confusing my answer was.
Okay.
No, I'm fine with it happening. I would have said the same thing a year ago, though.
So you felt like Comic-Con 2021 should have happened?
Last year, like not
was
special
2021,
edition, but July. I think once the vaccines were rolled out, then it's on you. You can get if you're worried, you get vaccinated. If you're not, I mean, you're willing to take that risk anyway. You're going to baseball games. I can go down to the local bar, and technically that's a super spreader event on a Saturday night,
right?
Listen. Wait, hold on. Just for a little bit of pushback. How many people are at the local bar in your town when, like, on Saturday night? Like, that's probably the busiest time. We're talking about, like, is it even 50 people?
Yeah, 30 to 50.
Oh, okay. So 30 to 50 means no, it's not 50.
I mean, but then they all go somewhere else the next day, right?
Right.
And we're not wearing masks.
Like, they go to church the next day.
No, but we're talking. Listen, Comic-Con is like.
My point is.
Comic-Con is like 130,000 people.
My point is, if you're worried,
like there's more people at Comic-Con than can fit into the friggin'.
It doesn't matter if it's 10 people or 1 million people. If you're that afraid, don't go.
It absolutely matters if it's 10 or 1 million.
But that doesn't mean they shouldn't have an event.
The fact of the matter is, getting your Jay Lee white cover done is not a necessity. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Comic-Con, there are more people that went to Comic-Con than fit into friggin' the SoFi Center for Super Bowl.
Right.
So well, I mean, it's not if that's a big difference.
If you're afraid, don't go.
Well, I'm not. Listen, I agree with you. If you're afraid, don't go. But what I'm saying is, you can't compare your local bar to, like.
But you're asking me if I think they should not have had it because of the situation with COVID today. And my whole point is, anybody afraid, you can mitigate it. If you're still afraid, don't go.
Short answer: yes, they should have still had it. It's a super spreader, and we should.
You know what? To me, it doesn't matter if it's a super spreader or not, because if you know your risks, and if you're afraid, don't go. That's it. You can
but here's the thing:
I'm not afraid. I took my precautions. If I get it, I mean, that's the consequences of my actions.
Well, but the thought is more so that the idea is, like, if you go to, like, one place that a lot of people convene at, and then everybody gets COVID there, and then they disperse to the rest of the country, that's how we get, like, pandemic again.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
I didn't have to wear a mask at the airport.
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, like,
you didn't have to wear a mask. You didn't have to wear a mask at your airport. You gotta wear a mask.
I went to like 3 airports. I didn't wear a mask at any of them.
Yeah,
you don't have a mask on the plane.
Like, even
wait, hold on. You didn't have to wear a mask when you got to San Diego?
No. I didn't have to put on the mask until I actually went into the convention center.
That's what I was telling you earlier, Larry.
Right outside, where people used to stand in line for Hall H, you don't have to wear a mask there.
Right. Until you scan your. In fact, I did that because I didn't put on the mask. Right when the badge touches the thing that goes beep, that lets you in. Mm-hmm. That's you got to put in your mask. Okay. So the whole time I was walking across the railroad tracks, all those people, nobody was wearing masks, and I wasn't either. Like, and that's the thing. It's like the event did what it needed to do for precautions. The city didn't, and the city is now inundated with people. So whether the convention is a super spreader event is a moot point, really, because there were more people outside than in, and nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
As Heck brought up a point with the monkeypox, I don't think there was that many people fucking each other in that there. So I don't think monkeypox is an issue.
I don't know. There's some blank spaces in my memory. So
look,
Look, I fucked himself up.
Mo definitely had sex with Oz at Comic-Con 2020.
Nah,
I mean, I was in that bar for 3 hours before you showed up.
Right, like Oz is like, I'm here guarding the table. I'm like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I got there 2 hours later.
I was on the third table at that point.
Oz fucked himself up because he was like hungover the next day, like really bad.
It was it was a rookie mistake.
This how fucked up. He just laid on his sleeping structure. I think he like rented a living room or something, and he didn't turn on the AC.
You rented a living room?
It was somebody's garage with a bed.
Yeah.
Oh,
he didn't turn on the fan. He didn't turn on the AC. He didn't like take off his clothes.
I did turn on the lights.
So he woke up in a pool of sweat. And he's like, oh, I'm hungover. And then he's like, are you hungover? And I'm like, I mean, no, but I will be around 3 p.m. because I got home. My sister says, hey, I know you're out doing your thing. Just come in through the garage. Here's the code. She didn't tell me how to close the garage. And I'm like, I don't, Larry, I'm under multiple influences.
She's like, why didn't this chick tell me how to shut the door?
Well, I waited for 20 minutes looking at the door, thinking like, oh, maybe it'll shut on its own. And they live in a good area. Like I'm not worried, but it's like I don't want it to be my fault. Like this dude's dumbbells get taken. You know what I mean? Meaning my brother-in-law. But
right.
So that's around 3 a.m, and then there's like a big white button. I'm like, oh, what does this do? And I hit it, and it shut the garage door. So I went in. Everybody was getting settled, ready for bed, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to bed too. I did my thing, went to the bathroom, took a big shit, went to sleep. And when I woke up, my brother-in-law had a 24-pack of Mexican lager beer on the table. He put a bunch in the fridge.
Wait. He left it for you, or he was awake?
No, he left it. He knew we were there, so he's like, he bought an extra big box and he put a bunch in the fridge. But I woke up to take my morning shit at 5. That's like my schedule. So like from 3 to 5, I slept for those 2 hours, and I saw that like my sister's dog Bruce was acting up, so I took him out, like, hey, go take a leak, whatever. And then I came back and I saw that big box. I'm like, hey, don't mind if I do. So I just kept going. Like I slept for 2 hours and I kept drinking. And then I went to Comic-Con. And so I didn't have the hangover that Oz had. Then we went to the Starfleet.
You did the hair of the dog.
Yeah, but I guess that's the way to do it. I didn't feel
no hangover because you kept drinking.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's what it was. But I thought I was gonna have to drive home, so I had to stop at one point.
Humanity has been doing that for thousands of years. That's not. No, I guess that's what it was.
Yeah. So
his hair is 1,000 years old.
How old is beer?
Oh, I don't even know.
The Epic of Gilgamesh.
We should ask Supreme Justice Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
He don't know.
He doesn't believe in that history. He only believes in Judo Christianity. He don't believe in fucking the Epic of Gilgamesh or Zoroastrianism or any other religion that outdates Christianity. Yeah, but the Epic of Gilgamesh actually has there's a poem that is the recipe for beer, and it says author God. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. It's basically mead. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I agree.
So we went like Emily went a little hard too, and she's like, you guys go to Comic-Con. I'll catch up with you guys. So
Emily's like, I'm tapping out early.
Once she texted us, she goes, okay, I'm gonna be on my way in about 20 minutes. We're like, okay, Oz is about to catch his flight out. I'm like, let's go have one.
Wait. Emily missed the last day of Oz?
No, well, we were there. We were there Saturday night. And then Sunday was the last day of Oz. Sunday at like 2. So
got you.
If we stayed up till about,
So she missed the last. She was awake.
I stayed up till 4. and then woke up at
Jeez.
5, and then
Damn.
then
Hey, Oz,
Hmm.
salute.
Yeah, we closed out that bar.
Yeah, we closed out the bar. Then we went to go
Chipotle?
get pizza. Yeah, then we will get pizza.
White Words Pizza?
Yeah, we went to the White
Yeah.
Words Pizza.
Yeah.
Like we literally said, like, Oz, we closed down the bar. It's time to go get White Words Pizza. Like we went and got White Words Pizza.
Cheers. Fantastic Four moments in
All I
history.
remember is he pointed at the pizza place. Like, oh, pizza.
Right. No, I look, that feels like our first
Right.
Comic-Con.
So my intention was like, hey, Oz, White Words Pizza. But what I said was, so we went, we had pizza, and then we got back to the next day. So
No.
you
gotta mention the messed up lift you got that took you around the block.
Lyft fucked up, man. I'm mad at Lyft. Lyft does this thing where you say where you want to go, but then based on where you put your pickup, automatically changes your destination based on some algorithm of where people want to go in your area. It did that shit. Like I thought I fucked up that day because it literally just went around the block and left me, and then I was like, "What the fuck you doing here?" It's like this piece of shit did that. So then I had to sober up real quick and do it.
Wait, so you put in a destination for Lyft.
Right.
Lyft was like,
address.
I know you said you wanted to go here, but where you really what you want to go is over there, and they sent you to a different place.
It went to the next restaurant over because that's.
And you said you weren't just drunk.
I thought I was, so I just said, you know what, that's my bad. I told the guy, he goes, well, what do you want me to do? I don't know how to cancel. I don't know what to do in this situation. I'm like, look, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna give you 5 stars. Just leave me here. I'll order another one. I don't give a shit, you know. So I did that, and they took me. You know, I sobered up real quick and did it. And then the next day, when I tried to do the same thing, it did it again. And this time I was sober. So I'm like, you know what? I didn't fuck up that time. There's something
quote
wrong
unquote
with it.
sober.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I was sober. Like I literally I drank.
Or were you hair of the dog?
No. I was sober. Yeah.
Okay.
Starfleet.
Look, the buzzkill that was Comic-Con made sure I was good to drive home.
The buzzkill that was Comic-Con.
Like so. Yeah, that was the fucked up ride with like it literally just
got
took
it.
me around. It took me where like Whiskey Girl used to be, where we got that DUI drink. You know, like it went that way.
What's
and
the
then
DUI drink?
Larry, you know, there's on the menu there was a drink called the DUI, and then you take the drink and then you go and take a breathalyzer.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I remember now.
Yeah, I
remember now.
I saw them get into a car, and then I'm sitting. My car is a couple minutes away, and look up, and they're coming like from the other side of the corner. I'm like, oh shit, time travel.
Yeah.
you thought you died and was experiencing stuff like via remote.
Honestly, if one of you guys, well, I guess you were all too fucked up. If you would have started like warning me about the future, I would have bought it. So, like,
no, yeah, I like Oz. Did they jerk?
He's like, he was like, Oz, it's your kids. It's your kids, Oz. He's like, oh no.
Did they find
have kids? Did they find me? That's hilarious.
But
dude, y'all are too good.
What I want to tell you is that we went to around while we were waiting for Emily to get to Comic-Con, we went to the Starfleet was it the Outpost, and it's a bar that's free to get into, and it's just like a little like where Dick's used to be. They turned it into that for the
really,
yeah. And
so real quick, is that not like a business that has like that has existed already?
It's a lot, as far as I know.
Yeah,
a
lot of those places went under because of COVID.
Right, I remember. Yeah. Like, I mean, when we were there for special edition, we're like, "Oh, damn, Dick's is gone."
Right, but Dick's was before that, though. Yeah, it was gone before that because we even did. That's where we did one of those parties, like Nerdist parties, or one of those.
But Dick's was still there when we went for that.
I don't think it was, or it was on. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. I don't know, but
yeah, because that was upstairs of Dick's.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it, but I know like
Yeah.
the strip club, the steak place is not there anymore.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Fuck 'em. They make you cook your own steak.
yeah.
If I pay that much for a piece of meat, you better fucking put that shit on the grill. You don't just give me a raw piece of meat on the plate.
Give me the
and say, "Let's go
manager's
over there."
The shit you're gonna throw out and turn into fucking hamburgers. But
They
but
better
yeah.
get
So that was what the Starfleet outpost was, and they had some memorabilia. You could buy a hat, you can buy a shirt. They had a shirt that was shit, I don't remember the name in Klingon, but it was the band, the Sex Pistols, essentially. It translates
In Klingon?
in Klingon. It translates to sex phasers, and it's like a
That's
sex.
hilarious.
But it was
That's
actually
pretty
worn
funny.
by like Riker's daughter in one of the episodes of like Deep Space Nine or some shit. Yeah. So
Wait,
it's like
what?
yeah,
Riker's daughter?
look, I'm behind on my Star Trek, so I haven't gotten there yet.
That's
So
hard.
yeah. Oh, it's from Picard. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you had left
Okay.
already when I found the shirt, but I'm like,
Okay.
and I told Liz, I'm like, hey man, if they give a fuck about like real Klingon shit, like there'd be a Strovacore fucking shirt, man, and that's like the death metal band, the Klingon death metal band,
Strovacore?
Stovacore, yeah.
Oh, Stovacore. Okay, cool. Okay, so listen. Oh, go ahead, Mo.
No, they had themed drinks. They had like Oz. What was the one that you had?
I don't know. Something
Like set your phasers to fun or something.
Yeah. It was blue.
And then I had
Phasers to
forgot what
fun.
Liz had. Liz had like they were themed, and I look, they're delicious. I'm used to drinking my liquor straight, so I'm like I'm not used to that sweet stuff. But it was a great experience. Not the line for that wasn't too big, and they're very lax about checking your weapons. Like,
Wait, what?
look, I'm a big Second Amendment guy, but when I saw that wand coming, can you put this in your luggage for me? He's like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah. And then they didn't check his luggage, but they wanded him. And then I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And then he was about to go catch his flight. I'm like, give me my shit back. And he's like, oh, shit, you're trying to get me arrested. Because he can't take that on the plane, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so they're very lax about their their weapon seizures, but it was a good time there too. Like I liked hanging out there. Yeah, a lot of Oz. You got to do some of the experiences outside too, right?
Sort of. I walked around. There was a lot of people though.
Yeah. Were they more crowded than the Starfleet outposts?
A couple. The big stuff like the what's the new Game of Thrones crap? Like that nonsense.
The Rings of Power.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Wait, Rings of Power? Is that Game of Thrones?
No, that's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're
The
talking
House of
about
the Dragon
what you
or
call the
whatever.
dragon.
House of the Dragon. Yeah, that's what it is.
House of the Dragon. My bad.
Yeah, the stupidity of the stupid, whatever. Those obviously were packed, and I was actually more angry that like when what's home dude's name, Genki, that actor, when he's like walking down the street, he's got like the crowd and all that and everything. But then I'm walking by and fucking Liefeld's walking like on his cell phone and nobody like gives a shit. I'm like, these youngins just don't know.
Okay, so that was what you were telling me when we were drunk at the bar. Like you ran into Genki.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I was walking in a direction and he's, him and
Okay.
his entourage like were walking towards me. And I'm like,
Genki had an entourage?
what? He had like security and then a couple people that were there with him.
And you think he was high
Okay.
as fuck, right?
Yeah, because like he had that like looking half up at the sky with his eyes like, yeah, he
Like what I did.
I think he was high.
Like,
I think he was high, but I don't know. He could have just like there was a lot of sunlight that day.
What'd you say to him?
I said nothing. Fuck that guy. I ain't talk to that guy.
Why-
He's not even
why
gonna be in
fuck that
Spider-Man
guy?
movies anymore. He don't know who Peter Parker is.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
He's not. He ain't shit.
What? So you saw him, but you didn't even say anything?
Well, no, I was more worried his security would beat me.
Oh, so you were scared. That's fair.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I didn't know he had security. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's his personal security. I don't know if it's his security, Comic-Con security. We had security, and obviously the people taking pictures of him, and then like a little crowd around him, and a couple of people that were his friends. So it's a big group. I'm not gonna be the guy like standing in front of him, stopping like Tiananmen Square. You know, I'm just gonna get my ass run over.
Like Tiananmen Square.
That's what it's gonna look like.
I will admit, like, if you don't know this dude's name in real life, you shouldn't stop it.
That's the other thing. I would have called him Genki. Which
Right,
is not
no.
even his name in the movies because I don't remember
He's Ned. He's Ned in the movie.
Whatever.
He's Genki. He is Genki. I agree with you 100%.
I like when I saw I like when I saw Larry earlier. I told him, "Oh, I saw Genki," and he knew exactly what I meant.
I know exactly who he meant, right? Because, dude, that fool is Genki. Like, I know he wanted to be Ned, but he's Genki.
If I would have called him Genki and he heard me, he goes, "Who the fuck is Genki?"
Yeah, he would not have known. I agree with you 100%. I don't think he would have known.
And then I'd have to get angry at him and throw a punch.
You don't have to hit him. You
I
can
didn't
just
say
be
I
angry
would. I
and
said I
not
would throw
attack
the
him.
punch. I'm assuming the security would take it for him.
No, they just would subdue you.
They could try.
No, okay, Lethal Weapon. Goddamn. Oz is like, I'm drunk and high, and I'm punching celebrities, and guess what? The security, they better hope they can handle me. Look, you go mess around and be like, why am I on a plane? Like, you'll be, by the time you get sober, you'll be like, I didn't even realize I got kicked out of Comic-Con. You'll be like halfway home.
Yeah. I know Mo gave me some kind of cigarette. That's kind of where the memory ends.
Look, I just like to take this moment to apologize to Jay. It's like, I feel like, you have all these people that are just like, we're all somewhat incoherent. You're just here to like watch us. I apologize, Jay. I apologize.
Well, we're giving him the Comic-Con experience. Like, if he was there,
right? Right. There's like Fantastic Four at Comic-Con. Like,
that's what it was. Like Jay could tell you, this is what it was at Comic-Con Special Edition when we were all together.
Basically,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget, alcohol gives me strength.
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize to Jay for Comic-Con Special Edition. So, listen, let's talk about some Comic-Con news. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Was there any?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was plenty of news, Oz. There's plenty of stuff happening. And understand, here's what I can say. Oz, as a huge fan of DC, our resident DC guy, I could totally understand why Oz would be like, was there any news really? Like,
honestly, lately you've made me feel like the resident Marvel guy too.
Listen, I know you say that, but listen, that's fake news. That's not real. Like, what have you known?
Deny the results of the poll. Yes, that's you.
Of what poll?
Of the who knows Marvel the most? Of the me and you.
No, that poll didn't happen.
Look, I heard that before. January 6th, I heard it.
Like, no, there's nobody's gonna be like, oh, Oz knows Marvel better than Lawrence?
Better
than Mayor?
I think they would.
No, okay.
I think anybody who's paying enough attention knows.
Oz, do you have any, like, what's your, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand, like, being at Comic-Con physically, like, there, is a whole different experience than watching what's happening at Comic-Con from afar. We all know that. Like, we've been to Comic-Con enough times that we're like, wait, what was announced? Like, when you come out of the bubble after the fact. But technically, it's Wednesday. What are your thoughts on, or what do you know about what DC like talked about over the course of Comic-Con?
Before that, anybody who watches this channel, I'm starting to unbox statues and stuff. You see all the collectibles back here.
Yeah. Doing a great job of it.
I got to see a lot of this stuff in person because usually I buy them just off the picture, and the pictures, they're Photoshop, they're made to look good. Like there was stuff that I saw, I was like, no, probably not. After seeing like the actual physical what they look like at Comic-Con, I have blown a lot of money. That
really,
hopefully, there's a lot of stuff that I got. I didn't get that $13,000 statue that was shown at Comic-Con, and it is not. I don't see it.
The whatchamacallit
Square Enix.
Yeah.
13,000. Mo might have a picture of it because he took a lot of pictures at the.
I'm
Square
sorry.
Enix.
What?
At the Square Enix booth, there's a statue worth $13,000.
Which one was that one?
It was some chick riding some metal thing.
Oh, it's the
I think Jay might know the characters.
It's what's that game, Larry? That's really good. Actually, like I uploaded video of it, and it's not for some. I guess StreamYard didn't take it, so I can try to share some of it. Like
what kind of what genre of game is it?
They call everything an RPG now. Like I could tell you it's RPG, but it ain't no fucking RPG. Larry, you and I play fucking Bravely Default. It ain't.
You're talking about League of Legends?
No, Square Enix. It's like a Nier Automata. That's the shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's not the statue. The statue is Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh, that's an RPG.
So it's Terra.
Yeah, the Terra on
Magitech.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That joint looks awesome. But it doesn't look like it's worth all the money that they asked for it.
No, it doesn't look like that in person either.
No, listen, I will tell you right now, like Final Fantasy VI, not only is it an RPG, but it's literally like my favorite RPG. Like I love Final Fantasy VI. Right. Like Final Fantasy, like here's the thing. I get that Final Fantasy VII was like a technological like marvel when it came out, but you don't get to Final Fantasy VII without the groundwork of Final Fantasy VI. Like Final Fantasy VI, in my opinion, is a better RPG.
Final Fantasy VI was the foreplay and hard work that Final Fantasy VII finished for me.
Right, exactly, right. That's it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Final Fantasy VII by any means. Like,
no,
like
I love Final Fantasy VII. Like,
Final Fantasy VII is an amazing RPG on like the original, and Final Fantasy VII like remake is an amazing technological achievement. Like,
I actually canceled those that he's showing on the screen right now. Sorry, I knew he was gonna.
You said you canceled the orders for these?
Yeah, for 2 that he showed because.
Oh wow!
Which one? The Aerith one, or
the one in their fancy dresses?
Oh
because
yeah,
I found a bigger like that. Those are like this big.
And see, like I saw these and I was like amazed. Like I wanted all of them, and like the Nier Automata ones. Like I like that game, but seeing the statues for the game for me was like, whoa, they look like the game looks good. The statues look better to me, and then that cloud, like the Buster Sword clock. I'm like, I need that right over my right now.
Here's the thing. For someone like myself, there's nothing that I've seen from Final Fantasy VII where I'm like, that should not exist. Because Final Fantasy VII is an amazing RPG. Like, there's nothing I've seen where I'm like, why would you make that? Everything that I've seen from Final Fantasy VII should 100% be there. From my perspective, I'm like, why don't we have that for Final Fantasy VI? Or if you're like, there's American people that are like Final Fantasy 3. Either way.
Oh, that's
3, 6. Okay. Like, it's like, however you want to, but we call it 6 because technically that's the 6th Final Fantasy in the series. It was branded as 3 back in the day. But either way, it's just like, dude, like Final Fantasy 6 is just as amazing and in some ways more so than 7. Like, so it's just like, why doesn't 6 get that kind of like shine? Like, I'm not saying like
it didn't
Final Fantasy, huh?
It just because it didn't look as good. They're still using the sprites, and then 7 is where they actually went to the full motion video that just looked amazing.
Right, but
and
the thing is,
that's where
like,
most people started.
You have art for 6 that can be translated into a statue easily.
Yeah, like I get it. Like, if the thought is like, oh well, Final Fantasy 7 is, I mean, nobody's gonna disagree that 7 is not technologically superior, but it is technologically superior because it came later. Like,
it's the next gen.
Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I get it, you're right, but it's like, is that all it is? Like, is it just about like the fact that 7 is in 3D and 6 is like not? Because
I think because the story is really good, and because it feels a bad story,
yeah, but 6 is a better story than 7,
right? But the 6 don't have those graphics, so I think the graphics.
Right, that's the thing. Where I'm like, are we just talking about graphics?
No, the graphics push it above in the consciousness, because nobody's talking about 8 the same way they talk about 7. Nobody's talking about 9 the way they talk about 12 too. Yeah, so
but that's the thing. Like, where it's like, here's the thing. It's like that. Like, just like you said, like we talk about 7, and people don't feel the same way about 8 as they do 7. Right. And 8 is graphically superior to 7. 100% it is.
It is.
No, it's not.
Dude, you just haven't played it.
No, I played it. I bought 3 copies of it on 3 different platforms.
I don't understand. Like, 8 is graphically superior to 7. Like, there's no discussion. Like, you can't even make an argument that it's not. Like, you're wrong.
Look, maybe whatever, Larry. Look here, the design, the sprites that you're using in 7 don't look as good as the sprites you're using at 8. The cutscenes may be better, the pre-rendered backgrounds are better, but what you actually move around don't look good like they do in 7.
No, you're wrong. There's no like, you can't even make that. Like, I don't even understand. Like, you're lying to yourself. Like, I don't even.
That's what I feel. Like,
I agree, but you're wrong. Like, there's not one part of 8 graphically that is lesser than 7. There's no part of it.
Well, the design, for one.
Well, I mean, character design is not graphics.
Right, but when you start seeing all these things in motion, they look better because of the design.
Well, listen, okay, that's a different thing than graphically. And if you want to say the character design is 7, what are you gonna say, Jay?
I'm gonna pull up 2 screenshots. One of Final Fantasy 7, one of Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah. You can mess around and say that the character design is better in 7 than 8, and that's a different thing. But you can't say the graphics aren't as good in 8 as they are in 7. Like, that's crazy talk.
There's always the Guns N' Roses argument, which is like, that's what you lost your virginity to. So fucking Welcome to the Jungle will always have that feeling for you. So their next album won't feel the same. And with Final Fantasy VII, because it was such an advancement, anything after that doesn't hold up to that. That's an argument that I think could be made in this case.
No, but that
this
doesn't
is
make any
7.
sense.
That's because you didn't lose your virginity till like 2003.
That's not right, but whatever. Like what I'm saying to you is, listen, graphic fidelity
Did you
is
put
a
the 8 one up? James? I didn't see.
no, not yet.
Here goes 8.
Graphic fidelity is a thing that's like you can look like there's not even a polygon that you can see in that. Like literally, Final Fantasy VII was like his shoulder is a hexagon, and then this is 8. Like that's an actual character model. So it's like it's not about it's not about graphics, and that's the whole thing I'm saying is like I look and you understand. Like you all know me, I'm a Nintendo guy, so you know graphics isn't where my heart lives. You know, like the Switch is the lowest, like the least powerful console out right now, period. Everyone knows that. If you're going to say different, you're wrong. Right? But what I'm saying is, it's like, I get it. If you want to be like, hey, 7 was like a benchmark, and I get that from a technical perspective, but that's it.
So,
and that's weird to me.
So Lawrence, just to kind of cut you off because you're running a long time. We started this segment when you asked me about the DC announcements, and this segment.
Damn you, Moses!
This segment perfectly illustrates how I feel. I'd rather talk about something else.
You'd rather talk about something else?
There was nothing really new. I mean, there was like the Black Adam trailer, the Shazam trailer. There's not like they weren't talking about anything new and exciting, and there was really nothing much.
Here's the thing. I feel bad for DC because I feel like the idea, like people were hoping and praying that DC was going to announce a new Superman movie with Henry Cavill in it.
They're still, like, I guess The Rock said something that got people mad because he insinuated that Cavill wasn't even the Superman anymore.
Right.
So
that did happen. Like and it's not that he. I mean, all he said was because somebody asked him who would win in a fight between Black Adam and Superman, and he basically was saying, "I guess I feel like it would depend on who was cast as Superman."
I read a story where somebody thinks that what's that dude's name? Tyler Hoagland would become the new DC Superman for the movies.
I don't even know who that is. Who is Tyler Hoagland?
Superman and Lois. I might have said his name wrong. I don't actually know.
Oh, no. Look, if you said it right, I still would not have known who his name is. But
he's great for that show. I don't think.
Yeah, Tyler Hoagland.
Yeah, I don't think he should.
If that guy was cast as the movie Superman, he definitely loses to Black Adam. which is a fair statement from The Rock, right? The Rock was like, "Hey, man, it depends on who's like." He's like, "If you cast Henry Cavill as Superman, then maybe I lose."
Yeah,
right. He's like, "If you cast Tyler Hoagland, then I win." Because my agents are better than his agents.
No, but it's not even that. It's just like you can't like.
I think it is that.
I saw the new trailer for Shazam, the Gods one, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit, and that Shazam can't beat Black Adam. You know,
no,
like, and the thing is, realistically, like when you look, that Black Adam don't even have elf ears. Like props to Namor because that motherfucker don't have elf ears.
True.
You know,
sure.
So no, with the shape of the Rock's head, you might not need them. You know, but we're not talking about that.
Wait, are you saying the Rock's head is pointy?
Yeah, like his ears stick out more than they should, just based on his head. They don't even stick out. So they look like they can.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah. What's he gonna do? Beat me up?
Maybe.
can't do that.
He can.
No, it like they'll like
Can get away with it.
Nah, he can't.
Listen, like 2 of the 3 of us here won't even report The Rock if he beat you up.
No, but yeah, there'll be video. Like they're like, oh, he went to the Special Olympics and beat up somebody. Like his reputation will be ruined. Yeah.
They'd be like, what that friggin' special kid do?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Moses Magnum is a special kid. He talks a lot of mess.
Yeah. But yeah, like I don't think like they kind of played themselves by casting The Rock because now they have to do like a big dude for Superman if they want to do that fight. But I mean, they ruined. Like honestly, like I said this a couple weeks back. Like I can't wait to see the Elvis versus Black Adam fight because I think the dude that played Elvis, like he was grandiose. Like he did that shit right. Like he don't look like a superhero. Like they made him look like a better superhero than they just with his costumes and shit than the Shazam movie did for Shazam and the Shazam family now in the second movie. Like, I looked at these costumes like fucking. The only one that looked good was Mary Marvel. And that was it. And she was like crouched in the shadows, but she looked good. But everybody else looks like shit. Zachary Levi plays Shazam like shit. Like he can't like whatever costume he has, he can't. He's not fucking Captain Marvel. Like they I don't know what the fuck Hollywood has against the idea of somebody trading bodies with another with a superhero being. You know, they got rid of it in Thor. They're trying to do it with Miss Marvel. And they Shazam can't get it right. You know, like Zachary Levi is not the kid in an adult body. Like he's a different person. He's the embodiment of all these powers. Like he should be confident. You don't need to talk to a podiatrist about not being able to feel like he's a fraud as a superhero.
Wait, but in the comic, isn't that how it goes? Like,
that's
isn't
what
the
they
kid
did when they changed his name from Captain Marvel to Shazam?
Oh.
That's what they did, but that's not what I love being a Billy Batson, Shazam, Captain Marvel fan. Like, you're not doing me any favors by doing that shit.
So traditionally, you're saying that Captain Marvel, when he comes onto the scene, he trades places
It's
with
a
the
body
child.
swap thing. Like every now and then, you know, even
I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
Like it's literally like, hey, like it's the child fantasy of being the superhero. Like you're watching the child be the super. That's what made it so innovative. That's what made it outsell Superman. Was that it was a child becoming Superman. You know, that was the draw.
Okay.
That was the draw for me. Jeff Smith got it right. Why can't they pay Jeff Smith to make the fucking movie? Yeah,
there you go.
You know, Jeff Smith did a really good like modern story that really like held the old stuff through. But it was before New 52. You know, once New 52 came around,
yeah,
you know, they fucked shit up.
And Jay, you agree with that in the sense that you felt like the trailer, it didn't resonate with you either?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Oz, how about you, man? How'd you feel about Shazam 2?
I'll watch it.
We know you're going to watch it. How'd you feel about the trailer, Oz?
I'm still going to watch it.
We talked about this at the bar, Oz. What the fuck?
That's my answer. I'll watch it. I'm not looking forward to it. If that's
right, that's what we want to hear. Like you'll watch it in protest. Like you don't like what it is, but you'll watch it
because we're going to talk about it on the show.
No, I mean, does it look better? Like, does it just from the trailer? Like, you know, obviously the trailer's not the movie, but from the trailer, do you feel like it'll be better or worse than the first movie?
I think it'll be a little bit better visually, but that's not a high bar,
right?
No, it's set by the first one.
I hear you.
Zachary Levi hated being successful, and he felt like he was a fraud, and the only thing that really like saved him was Jesus.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
is that true?
Yeah, that's what he wrote in his new book.
Why are you reading Zachary Levi books?
I saw news stories about it, and I'm like, I hate him even more now.
Okay. And
I can't wait for the kid to be big enough that he can just play both parts.
Look, that
the kid was a way better actor in the.
If you watch the trailer, like that's what it should have been. That kid's like Shazam.
That's what they did. Mary Marvel. They got rid of the chick that played Mary Marvel in the first one and just said, "Okay, you're just gonna change costumes. Now you're the adult."
Wow, it's interesting just because I watched the Shazam. I'm not Shazam. Well, I did watch the Shazam trailer, but I was more concerned with the Black Adam trailer, and it really like I felt very disheartened by it.
Why is it all
not because? Huh?
The whole trailer is like yellow.
That's the color theme because of the lightning bolt.
Honestly, I didn't even notice the yellow. I was just more than anything just a little bit like, man, like why is it that like superhero Hollywood at this point doesn't understand how to do like anti-heroes?
Well, that's because you don't have superhero Hollywood vertigo yet. Like you don't have you don't have a Hollywood superhero Warren Ellis. You don't have a Hollywood superhero Grant Morrison. You don't have a Hollywood superhero Neil Gaiman. Like, and I'm not talking about like contracting them to do it. You don't have that director that can give you a new vision of what superheroes can be. The closest thing we have to that is like The Boys at this point. I would say Invincible too, but it's really The Boys.
No, The Boys. You're right. Like The Boys is probably the closest thing to like superhero multimedia where you have a true anti-hero, or somebody where it's like this guy's trying to do the right thing, but he's not a good person, and it makes sense the way that they do it. Because I'm just like I'm like looking at this Black Adam, and I'm like, me, like I love The Rock.
The Peacemaker was a good one too.
That's true.
So that's true. Where and that's your vertigo. That's your Hollywood vertigo. You're not going to get it on a big screen. You're going to get it on a small screen. And it's going to be less people watching it than watching,
right.
Sick,
But here's the thing, like obviously, like, and I'll give like the movies the props they deserve in the sense that it's obviously easier to develop an anti-hero over the course of a television series because you have a lot more time with the character and you can see like the nuances. Because I mean, and that's in a lot of ways, that's where anti-heroes live, right? Like anti-hero, you need the nuance in order to properly portray the anti-hero. However, you can do an anti-hero in movies. Like we know that's the case because it happens in movies all the time.
The fun is the nuance and getting them on a week-to-week basis or episodic basis. Like one movie of one anti-hero, I don't think would do enough in people. Like it wouldn't get enough of a reaction from people in a 2-hour, 90-minute thing for them to really care about the character like they would in a TV show. And and right now with the technology we have for filmmaking and the distribution we have for TV, like, I mean, you look at like fucking Loki or Miss Marvel, like you're getting, or Obi-Wan, you're getting weekly movies at this point, So, and I'm not even gonna talk about like really good shows like True Detective or anything like that, but that's already there. Yeah, Stranger Things, that's already there. But we're talking about superhero shit. There's examples in it in superhero shit. You could do it, and it's better in the TV format. Like it's just they can do it better. Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like more so than anything, like you can do it in a movie if you really want to, but and that's the whole thing. Like even like talking about like something like Venom in a lot of ways, like in the comic book space, was like your quintessential like
but
anti-hero.
Larry, between you and me, we're not gonna ask Jay because Did you like those Lethal Protector books?
I did. I love Venom Lethal Protector. No, you didn't like Venom Lethal Protector?
I mean, I like some of them. They weren't all good books. Like,
I'm not saying all of them. I thought you were talking about the initial Lethal Protector series, which is like,
I'm talking about the initial series. I know Jay liked it, but I like not all those books were really just good books. You know,
I mean,
like
if I'm remembering correctly, the original Lethal Protector series is only like 6 issues,
right?
And those books are great because it literally shows you, like, it's the first time we saw Venom away from Spider-Man, and it just kind of goes to show where it's like, yeah, like this guy is like, listen, I hate Spider-Man and I want him dead, but that doesn't mean I hate and want to kill everybody. And it was like, that's what's real, because that was what, like, it made perfect sense with the motivations of the character, because Eddie Brock and Venom had a grudge against Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and that's it. And it's not to say that, like, that was the thing with the anti-hero aspect of it, where it's like, they're edgy, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, they don't do things like how Spider-Man does things, where he's like trying to make sure everyone's good. He's like, I don't need everyone to be good. He's like, I'm trying to do the right thing the best way I know how. But it's like, you know, if a dude breaks his arm over here, or a dude that's like a bad person dies over there, no big deal. And that made sense for the character at the time. And of course, when that series came out in the 90s, that was like an innovative thing for a character to be the center that had that kind of moral compass.
Right.
That's not the case anymore. You know, like, because realistically, up until that point, the only other character that even came close to that was like Punisher. So that's why it was like innovative. But that's like, it took basically that long in comic book lore or comic book history for that to like become like, you know, I mean, obviously Punisher came sooner, but up from Punisher moving forward, it took like the 90s to get to that place again. I mean, you could make an argument for Wolverine, but even then, like, Wolverine is, you know, Wolverine's the Ronin, right? Which is a whole different thing. Like, yeah, he doesn't mind killing people, but he has a very like honor-bound kind of thing going on with him. Venom did not have that. Venom was like, I'm gonna try to help people, and it's like, look, the only way now to help people is to kill the bad guys, you know? And that was like, yeah, that was like, it was, I thought it was good, but, you know, keeping in mind, that's what, at that point, maybe 15-year-old me, maybe like 13-year-old me. If I reread it like in 2022, I might feel different, but probably not.
Yeah, you know, I remember like a couple of those issues being like, okay, this issue is not that great, but that's just me.
I mean, listen, I will 100% give you the idea that from a story perspective, because like, I know that superhero comics in the 90s weren't written as well as they are today. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to look at it through the lens of like, you don't even have to look at it through the lens of like the 2020s. You can look at it through the lens of like the 2010s and be like, that's not as good of a comic as it could have been today. And I'll give you, I mean, obviously Venom, if even like the stories they tell about with Venom today are a lot more nuanced now than they were in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll give you that, but I feel like it's important to put it in the context that it was created in.
I mean, like I said, when I read them back then, not every one of those issues was.
Yeah, they don't all hit, and I'll give you that. Like, but the same way, Maximum Carnage.
Like, you know, I was having a conversation with my clients when we were talking about, you know, Secret Wars, and it's like, you know, there's all this stuff that happened in Secret Wars that is, you know, not necessarily a buildup of like 30 years of me reading comics, but because it was me reading it for 30 years, it's fucking tight. Like, they even heard the announcement for Secret Wars, and they're like, I don't know what this is. Look, tell me what this is.
Yeah, right. And they don't know what they don't understand the significance.
I'm like,
right.
Well, you know, like, there's things that can be done, and and that's where, like, I think the comic book, like, anti-hero adaptation thing is, it's like the anti-hero fits better in a serialized format. Like, the movies,
Mm,
it aren't gonna work. Like, they're just not, because Hollywood has programmed people to like a certain type of movie for a certain amount of time, and you can't have something different. Like, that's the problem that people that don't like superhero movies are having with Hollywood now, where it's like, I gotta drive 2 hours to a 30-mile away theater to watch a movie about the real human experience, where I don't know whether they died or not. Yeah, like, so and that's a whole different argument, but that's kind of it. Like, they're programming, people respond to something, and then they push back a certain way, and then until everybody just gets burned out. And it happened in
mm,
comics. That's how we got Miracle Man. That's how we got Sandman.
mhm.
And Spawn and all that stuff. Like, even the Spawn and Cyberforce and all that was like the end of that. Like, that was the culmination. This is when it goes too far, in a sense. Like, as much as I love all that, like, that was the wave we rode.
Right.
And with Hollywood, I think we're riding that wave. Like, we're not at that point yet, but it is like we are gonna see the more Vertigo-y type stories. You're just not gonna see them in the movies. Jupiter's Legacy tried, and
Yeah.
it just happened. I think if it would have been on Hulu, it would have hit different. If it would have, like, quality
What was Jupiter's Legacy on?
Netflix.
Oh, you feel like if it was on Hulu, it would have hit different because why?
Because less things come out each week on Hulu than they do on Netflix.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
That's
more people
wild.
would have seen it. Yeah,
That's really interesting that you feel that way, and I
yeah.
can
I think
understand where you're coming from with that.
Netflix has too many viewers, and it's too diverse a demographic. So they're trying to give something to everybody, and the algorithm's trying to figure it out. And with Hulu, it's like, well, they're like, we'll do like 4 a week, and 2 of them are murder shows. The other one is like FX, but we're calling it Hulu. Yeah.
Word. Let's talk about some of the stuff that got announced from Marvel Studios real quick. I mean, they basically laid a roadmap out going to 2025. For those of you that don't know, we're in 2022.
I didn't expect to live that long.
So, they talked about at the end of this year we have Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
I heard people are pissed off about that.
What are they pissed off about, Jay?
Yeah.
Basically, they want T'Challa to be recast, and they said they aren't going to do that, and so a lot of people are like really upset about it, and they're talking boycotts and
yeah.
So they're mad that it's Shuri.
Yeah, well,
we don't know that it's Shuri.
Oh, I know that. I watched that trailer 15 times today. It's Shuri.
You believe that?
Nobody.
That scene where she
Ironheart.
Look, the scene where you see somebody in the Black Panther costume with the claws, and you see that calf, you see that thigh, and you see that ass. It looked like J. Scott Campbell drew it. That's not M'Baku.
How you know it's not Michael B. Jordan?
They don't look like there's something between those legs like that.
Listen,
we're
gonna have to mess around and call your sus card if it turns out to be Michael B. Jordan.
Look, not my card, Michael B. Jordan. Look, dude, your calves need to be a little more feminine, dude.
How you know that's not Angela Bassett?
Well, either way, she's too old. Hollywood don't like. Look, they don't like black people. They don't like old black people. So unless it's like it's a dude playing God.
Yeah, but it's CG.
Yeah, no, it's probably Shuri. I'm willing to bet it's Shuri or Suri or whatever her fucking name is.
Yeah, Shuri's the right way.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously they're playing it a little bit close to the vest still, and everybody's speculating about who they think it is and who they think it's not. And realistically, at this point, we just don't know. It could be M'Baku, it could be Shuri, it could be Killmonger, huh?
Hexzilla says can't be Michael B. Jordan because Marvel Studios has Fantastic Four now. Come on, like that's a whole other conversation that Larry and I had earlier.
That's Hexclaw.
Michael B. Jordan's character is dead.
Yeah.
Or is he?
In the Marvel.
Well,
Or
look,
is he?
Wakanda is more about the science than the magic. They're not gonna bring over another Killmonger.
Well,
So
here's the thing:
the Reanimator is about science too, and they brought people back.
listen, they messed around, and what Killmonger asked to do was be buried in the ocean, right? And now we got a whole oceanic people.
Oh, because
in the sequel,
you think he's gonna like, hey, don't throw your garbage at us.
Look, maybe he reanimates the dude. Who knows? We don't even know. And then we got they got a whole different.
Yeah, it's Mayan Atlanteans that
right.
They know how to handle the underworld.
So I'm saying like this version of Namor and this version of Atlantis is a completely different version than what we're used to in Marvel Comics, and so there's no telling like what they could or could be doing differently. So like it's wild because I actually am digging the Mayan. I don't even know if I want to call it influence or whatnot, but maybe I guess that's the right way to say it. Like the Mayan influence on Atlantis, even though I'm sure they're like, in the story they're saying like, the Atlantean culture predated the Mayans, and it's actually the Mayans that were influenced by the Atlanteans. But like that whole
ancestors of the refugees that left Atlantis,
right? And it's a really interesting and cool concept, and I love how what they've incorporated from the culture into Namor's look for the movie. That I'm all for. The only part of it that I'm like, nah, is this friggin' facial hair. I don't understand why Namor has this facial hair.
Like, you don't want him to be buffer?
No, I don't. Look, he's fine as far as I'm concerned. Like, don't get me wrong, I would have taken a buffer Namor, but it's not like he doesn't look unhealthy. He doesn't look like flabby.
Like there's a little too many love handles for a dude that swims a lot.
Nah.
No, he's got that luchador body.
Right. He's not a luchador. He's a swimmer.
That's true.
He's a swimmer. Like, he needs a swimmer's body.
I'm not gonna knock the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he's fit enough to be Namor, as far as I'm concerned. But Namor should not have that facial hair. Like, the only time Namor has facial hair is when he thinks he's homeless.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why?
Maybe that's
what are you doing this little? Nah, like if that was what they were gonna do, that's fine. But he needs to shave that joint off before the movie ends. Because I'm just like, yeah. And that was the thing where I'm like, man, this fool showed up to Comic-Con clean shaven. I'm like, son of a bitch. It's like, look, we know that you can cut your hair off. Why didn't you do that in the movie?
Man, this dude looks Mexican as fuck.
Yeah,
man. He's very Mexican.
I love it. I love it. Like, this guy, I hadn't watched the trailer yet, but I had seen little stills here and there. I saw the little scene where they're riding the whales, and that looked amazing just from an Atlantis perspective. Like, DC did the technologically advanced Atlantis, but they're doing a little something more primitive, and I like that. But not primitive in the sense like they're backwards or they're deficient. It's like it's culture, and I love that. Then when I saw like
Hey, welcome to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan, and let's talk about the new Black
Me,
Panther.
sorry.
Oh,
I don't know who the fuck it is.
Yeah, it's definitely
ain't
you.
us. Yeah.
Definitely you.
When I saw him like go to the mural and you have the reptilian Kukulkan feathered serpent deity that he's touching, the headdress, like, and then me being 116th Mayan Indian or whatever the fuck. I don't know. My mom doesn't like to tell me how much of that is in me because she loves Jesus. But there is like stories I've heard from other people that don't love Jesus, and they're like, the Eskimos when they yeah, that area of Mexico wasn't a touristy spot until like the 70s. So the people that were in the 20s and like the 60s tell me like, yeah, we helped them excavate the pyramids and finding the underground shit, the shit that had been, over the shit that the Europeans burned or kept for themselves or hiding in the Vatican, as they say. Like we found skeletons of people that were like over 7 feet long or 7 feet tall, rather, and like, well, what's that about? Like, Mexicans are all small. It's like, and it's like, no, the Spaniards made us small, like, because it's like we are people from Lemuria and Atlantis. Like that's where the Mayans come from. They're refugees that left that sinking city, and that's where the Yucatan Peninsula and the Mayans came from. And even like he even goes to say, like, nobody speaks Aztec. Very few people speak Navajo. There's still a lot of people that speak Mayan, because it's for that reason. Like we never considered ourselves part of that mainland of people, And my mom, to a certain degree, goes with that. They ask her, "Are you Mexican?" No, I'm from Yucatan. And I'm from the city she's from, the neighborhood she's from. She never says Mexican, and she kind of taught us that way. The foods are a little different. They're more Polynesian than they are like in other parts of Mexico. A lot of the luau type, islander type cuisine and spices. But seeing that for for how they're doing Atlantis, like really hit good because I've seen, Wonder Woman 84. They just use an Indian guy to be the Mayan shaman. And I'm like, yeah. On a deeper level, I'm like, yeah, that's cool because there's a connection between their native religions and Hinduism, there is a through line. But I don't think DC knew that. Yeah. But I feel that Marvel is like they researched a little, yeah. Picked on something to latch onto to, maybe give a little diversity, but also within a cultural like representation level where it's not just like to have a Hispanic dude be Namor. It's like, how can we make it culturally relevant? And it's something where not a lot of people talk about because there's not a lot of those texts that, like, a lot of the codexes for Mayan and stuff, because they wrote their stuff and then they left a book on how to decipher it. On the Christian games, they burned it. Yeah, so we don't have a lot of those, but it's all through oral history and word of mouth, and that's how I heard these stories. And then seeing it here, it's like, man, to me, it's amazing, and I love it. Like I love every like that the feather. Like I said, I watch it 15 different times. That's the feather headdress. It's like I don't know how feather headdress work underwater. I don't give a shit, but. But just how it looked, it's like, yeah. And that's what I was telling, Larry, you were there earlier when I was talking to this dude, but you weren't there when I said this, where it's like, society likes to paint, Black Panther looks to me from on the surface right now, it's like, this the same shit we saw as growing up in South Central. And then that dude actually grew up in South Central on 55th and Main. And he's like, they're just pitting Hispanics against blacks. Like, Hollywood's just doing that, like, because it's easy. And I'm like, well, from what we saw in Black Panther in the past, it's like, maybe they might team up against the white man.
Right, absolutely.
So I'm like, it could be like Martha, and then they're like, yeah, let's kill Whitey, you know, I don't mean whitey as like the dude trying to struggle to feed his family in Mississippi. I'm talking about
Right.
systematic white man. I'm talking
No,
about
absolutely.
I'm talking about you know, Mitch McConnell saying, "Our house is wild." You know, I'm talking
And,
about
and,
that.
and,
But
and that's the whole thing where it definitely feels as though, like, in the same way that you had, like, in the Black Panther movie, you had the whole Afrofuturism kind of thing going on with Wakanda and like the idea of what could an African nation have been like if it wasn't exploited and colonized.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's like that same idea, it feels like they might be trying to extrapolate in regards to Latino people as well, in regards to Atlantis.
yeah,
And like in the same way they did that for Black people at Wakanda, you know, you have like uh Ryan Coogler and what's the old boy's name? Joe Robert Cole are the writers of the original Black Panther screenplay, and those are the same people that wrote this one. It's like it feels like they like were like, let's bring the Latinos into it, which is like
that's the sad part. Is that I don't think Latinos will resonate to it the same way Black people resonated to Black Panther.
that's unfortunate. Why not?
Because like they fucked our grandmothers. They didn't fuck your grandmothers. You know what I mean?
They absolutely did.
They raped. No, but there's more mestizos around than there are like half white, half Black people culturally. Like they bred religion into us. They bred Christ into us.
I think
I
the
don't know
whole
if that's
They
true.
didn't.
term
They made you submit into believing in Christ. They made it into our genetic code. Yeah.
I don't know. They might be less proud of it. So maybe it doesn't like, obviously, a half white, half Mexican person is a lot easier to pass along as white than a half Black, half white person.
Yeah, I
But
don't know, man. Oz, what were you gonna say?
it's not like it didn't happen. Like you got
No,
presidents.
I know. Look, you got last names like Washington and Jefferson. Like I
Yeah,
know
that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude,
Right.
it's like
but
it definitely happened.
They didn't create a country based on the fact that you're mixed. They did with all of Central America, South America, Mexico.
What country in South America or Central America is the mixed country?
All of it. All of it.
Mexico, like that's what I was saying earlier, is basically the term Mexico is because it's a mixed race.
No, no, that's false. That's your white influence. Mexico is the place, and it's our land. So like, where are we?
Well,
In
first
our
of
land.
all, it's
And they
pronounced
just
Mexica, so don't
sorry,
try
what?
to get all fucking on me.
Say that again.
Mexica. The X is pronounced like a CH.
All right. Same with
And we have Aztecs around to this day because they splinter off and became the Hopis of I think around Arizona. Like Heck probably knows some.
Either way, the thing is, like all those countries, like they became half. Like they all speak Spanish. The native tongue is like obsolete. And with the slaves, it worked out a little different. In the way that's part of the same problems we don't have in Mexico. There's not the same problems we have with indigenous people and white people because they're all pretty much mixed. Here in the US, we have the problem with the native people and the Black people that we're having because they're not, if they are mixed, they're not even acknowledged as mixed.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole point I'm making is, like that's what the 1% rule is, right? If you got 1%, like one drop or the one drop rule, you got one drop of Black blood, you're Black, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're a person of Latin descent mixed with white, it's like you might be able to pass as a white person, and 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 here's the thing:
but
they're
the
black.
thing is, if you go to Mexico, that's not the case. Like they're not like I'm
in
like
Mexico. Like nobody in Mexico is trying to discriminate against Latin people, right?
well, that's what the cartels are for. They got to keep some of them in check. Yeah.
I mean, they're in America is where what we're talking about because that's where the majority of the oppression is, right? So it's like.
No. I think
like,
the oppression is global. It's just you're seeing it from a certain perspective. I'm seeing it from a different perspective. Like I'm seeing white influence globally, which is why Wakanda is what it is, because they didn't get the white influence that Kenya had or South Africa had. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the whole point
So
I'm making.
I'm looking from a global perspective. Not an American. Jay's got to go.
Good night, Jay.
So I'm looking at it from a global perspective. Like the American experience is an aspect of it, but the shit that happened in Brazil, the shit that happened in I'm not gonna say Argentina because that's where the Nazis are still. But like Peru, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, like they all got genetically modified to not have that like that resistant gene that makes you different. Like they all got to look the same. We got to mix in, So
you're saying like all the people from those places look the same?
They don't all look the same. The culture made it the same through religion. So they
So you're saying they got colonized.
So, but the majority of them are like the majority of Mexicans don't look like me.
I agree.
They look closer like you, but
the majority of Mexicans don't look like me either.
No, but I'm saying in color wise, the shade.
They don't look like me color wise.
They're darker. They're dark. What I'm saying is darker. They're
Mexicans are darker than me?
No, I'm saying they're darker than me, closer to you.
They're darker than you.
Right. They're closer to you than they are to me.
We'll say they're in between.
But all right. The thing is, they don't have to worry about the shades too much like you do in other countries, or the US rather, because they're all just it's a theocracy, an unofficial theocracy. So they're just doing their thing, trying to get into the afterlife. They don't have to worry about the problems that we worry about here. You know what I mean?
And that's what Comic-Con 2022 was about.
I mean, all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, like Black Panther obviously is a franchise that resonated with Black people.
Right.
In the first movie. In the second movie, they were like, let's bring Latinos into it. And they didn't have to do that, but they chose to. And that's awesome.
They said bring Latino into it.
Why Latino?
Because all the other white kids are blue.
Well, but I mean, my guy, but culturally, their skin color is different, but culturally, they're literally not offshoots, but they're saying the Mayans are offshoots of them. It's like you're going to look at Atlanteans and be able to relate to them.
But my mom is an example. They would be offended to hear about God, the Kukulkan and Akat and all these other gods, these native gods. They defy that. They don't want that. They want Jesus. They want the virgin. Every town has their own virgin in Mexico. Like they worship.
I hear what you're saying, but I guess
they're not going to resonate the same way. My point is because of that culture, that homogenization, that rape. They're not gonna resonate the same way that Black people resonated with Black Panther too. Black Panther.
Well, then I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that sounds like a Latino culture problem. Then.
Well, look, that's the thing. We don't know what Latino culture is. Like, what? There is none. We're just trying to, my mom just wanted to have her kids in America because it's the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yeah.
And everybody that came here, like Oz's parents, the same shit, So there is no real Latino culture other than fucking tacos and Modelos.
No, I don't believe that. And keeping in mind, what'd you say, Oz?
I'm drinking Corona.
Yeah.
keeping in mind that
they're all owned by Anheuser-Busch, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, understanding that, like, I know I don't get counted as Latino because of what I look like, but both of my parents are Central American, and it's like, obviously my parents came here the same way your parents came here, trying to get a better life. Like we're all friggin' immigrant children, you know what I'm saying, or immigrant, like come from immigrant families. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, it's not like in my experience, it's not like I feel like, oh, my parents came here and they like shunned their culture just to be here. It's like, and keeping in mind too, like, Belize, despite the fact of what some of us look like, it's like, it's a Latin American country. It's bordered by Guatemala and Mexico. It's like, and it has the strong Christian influence.
People.
Huh?
They had the same indigenous people.
Right. Like literally, like when I went to Belize, I went to the Mayan pyramids.
Yeah.
Just that the same kind of Mayan pyramids that are in every other part of Central America, or not every other part, but that side of Central America, you know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, I'm just like, my parents have a strong Christian influence, but at the same time, they also maintain a certain amount of cultural significance that is outside of that sphere. So I'm just like, I don't know. I mean,
how many of like parents, like cousins, are white?
How many of my parents' cousins are white?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say like my great grandmother was a English woman. Like it's wild because I remember her.
Yeah.
And like it's so weird because it's one of those situations where she's my grandfather's mother, and I remember her and like hanging out with her for a little, and I didn't realize she was white until years later. Because no, it's true, because it blew my mind when I found out, because it's like, in my mind she's just family. And it's like my grandfather is like, my grandfather was maybe a little bit darker than you, Moses.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like, in my mind, it's like, that's like some members of our family look like that. And some members of my family look like me. And that's just what it is. And so when I'm remembering my great grandma, I don't look at her and think, oh, she's less family than the rest of my family.
Right.
I'm just like, she's one of the lighter ones, and I'm one of the darker ones. And it doesn't matter, because that's how family works. Like, it didn't occur to me that I was like, oh, like it's one of those things, like somebody said it. I remember being a kid, like, wait, she's white? What do you mean she's white?
Do you feel like a little bit of your innocence was robbed at that moment?
No, I mean, it is
like,
what it is.
As an adult, like, but it is a little bit like somebody put their bullshit on you and made you look at it a different way.
But here's the thing, like, I don't think of it as like a different way. I just think of it like, oh, like, white people are a part of me too.
Okay.
And that actually, like, in a lot of ways, makes more sense to me than less sense.
Yeah.
Especially in my experience as a person that presents as African American in America, and how I act and what I've been told in regards to, like, what I act like. And it's just like, what do you mean? Like, so it's like, it's fine for me. Like, I have no problem with it. There was no issue with it for me. Like, the issue is always with other people. They're like, you're not supposed to act the way you act. And it's like, I'm me. How you gonna tell me how I'm supposed to be? So yeah. But yeah, man. But I'm excited for the movie, except for the facial hair.
I think my dad may be darker than you, Lawrence.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It's possible, but you got a real fair-skinned mom, though.
Oh yeah, on my mom's side, they're like
in
my mom's got green eyes.
In their culture, like, his dad kidnapped his mom when she was like 14, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
There is a question on whether my mom was 18 when I was born.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that's what it
sheesh.
is. Like just judging by his age.
But dad
Judge-
was like a year, like they're a year apart.
Yeah,
too.
but he just
it's not
took
like
her like
that creepy.
he literally just the biblical thing took her and then gave him the
I mean, it's
grandfather a
creepy if he
cow.
kidnapped her.
But that's what they did. Like they just said, they say,
Yeah.
hey, let's hang out, and then
I'm not saying it didn't happen.
you
I'm
know
saying
it,
it doesn't make it okay.
before you know it, their virtue's gone, and then Oz's grandfather has a new cow. That's what they did. That's what they did.
Yeah.
You
So-
know, my mom's mother, my grandmother, was 14 when she got married to like a 50-year-old white dude.
Wow.
Yeah. And
There you go.
she was 5 years out of prison, so she didn't know what to do.
Wait,
fuck it.
what? Your 14-year-old grandma was 5 years out of prison?
My mom's mother was born in a prison, and she didn't get out of prison till she was 10.
Wait, why? So if she was born in prison, why wasn't she released immediately?
Because it's fucking Mexico, and they were indigenous.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know. Like that's how prison works. Like
go to school.
You got born in prison, so you're a prisoner.
The circumstances. My great grandmother.
Oh, they let her raise the baby in prison.
Yeah, they let her raise her in prison, but she didn't get no schooling or anything. She didn't speak Spanish. So,
But I'm saying your grandma wanted the baby to, or your great grandma wanted the baby to be raised in prison. She didn't want to send her off to go be free.
You gotta have choices to do
yeah.
that.
You don't have choice in prison. You don't have choices.
Like I'm sure if there was somebody else that could carry,
my great grandmother was put in prison for killing her husband's illegitimate child.
Oh Jesus! Damn.
Because
he had an affair. Mo?
No, that's look. You want Namor? This is what it takes. This is the shit.
Ryan Coogler and freaking Joe Robert Cole. Listen, you want to be real? Let's be real.
Yeah, like this is like you want to resonate with the indigenous people. This is a random ass story of indigenous people. I got random ass stories from my Spaniard side. That's a whole other shit. Like we don't got time for that.
Died in a knife fight.
She basically buried the kid alive. And they didn't find the kid when they came to investigate. She said it's down there, and they took her while she was still pregnant. And she didn't say she was pregnant. Nothing. This is my kid, And then at 15 or so, she got let out, and then my grandfather found her. And I think he had a whole separate family that he ran away from to be with her. So there's like whole things like, my mom went back, and they're like, well. You remember that person we said was like your sister? It might be your sister. Yeah.
Damn.
Like with ancestry.com and shit. That's how they were able to regain contact. Because my mom, when she left Mexico, she left. She's like, I'm going to America. I'm white. Yeah. They ain't treat her like white, but yeah, she did okay.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Damn. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So look, going back to the friggin' MCU. Namor at the end of the year. Then we got friggin' Ant-Man Quantumania starting off the next phase of movies, right?
You guys mentioned Daredevil in She-Hulk with the yellow costume.
Because that all happens next year too, right?
Because that's coming
She-Hulk,
up soon, right?
She-Hulk is in like 2 weeks.
Oh damn! Is She-Hulk in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
That's what you should be talking about. You're talking about shit that supposedly might happen in 3 years.
Right. Unless we have another pandemic.
I was talking about something that was happening in January of next year.
That's still like forever.
It's not. But you're right. We should talk about She-Hulk first. Which, look, thank God they improved the friggin' CGI on that joint. Like, why did they release this stuff? Like, you don't think so?
It looks.
You think it looks better?
It looks better, but it's not where it needs to be. But it's enough. For me, it's enough. Like I'm down. Like I look, Emily probably threw a shoe at me. I've never loved Tatiana Maslany more than that new trailer, man. Like she's amazing. Like when you guys laughed at me when I suggested we should do it, we should have a sitcom that is She-Hulk. You guys laughed at me. Derek told me
Yeah,
to
it's
go fuck
true.
myself. All
It's
this
true.
shit.
You're
And this
right,
is
and
what
that's
we're
what we're
getting.
getting.
And it's looking.
That's
And
what we're
it's
getting. You're right.
story wise and performance is what we're getting. This is where
Yeah.
you motherfuckers like Larry. You should be. Like, I'm not gonna say you.
No, you're absolutely right. Like you're
about
absolutely
Joe
right.
because
Like
he's Tom, but yeah, look, I was fucking right about this motherfucker.
you're right, and you did say that back then, and that is
Yeah.
exactly what it looks like we're getting. We're getting like a friggin' sitcom, court drama, action thing.
Yeah,
And again, it looks like it's gonna work.
yeah. It looks look those scenes with them working out together. Like to me, that's like Rocky 3 with Apollo fucking training.
Absolutely.
Rocky. Like it looks fucking with superheroes, so it's even better.
Mhm.
Those motherfuckers just do steroids. They just Captain America. Now we got gamma
Yeah.
irradiated motherfuckers, not just learning to do their powers, but learning how to balance it. Like that
Yeah.
like that's the beauty. And you know, I already know these motherfuckers are gonna be mad. I don't like that she breaks the fourth wall. I'm like, man, fuck you. Like that's the shit that makes it feel like the motherfucking comics, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't look, I mean, I don't believe it'll happen often. I could be wrong about that. But I feel like it's going to happen.
It happened a lot just in the trailer.
It only happened once in the trailer.
Nah, she did it twice. But the other one was like, it was like a YouTube video where they put the B-roll of what she's talking about over it. And that felt like a little much, but it only felt a little much because of the medium. Like in the comics, that shit works perfect. So I'm willing to put up with it in a live action TV show.
No, I mean, look, it seems like it's gonna be a cool series to me. I mean, we're gonna get some more Daredevil, which is awesome.
They gotta explain why his suit's yellow now.
Was the suit yellow in the thing?
Yeah,
you know,
like the colors.
Yeah, he looked like Kick-Ass. Like it was bright.
Kick-Ass.
But you know, I'll look. I don't even care about that because look, Daredevil #1, he was yellow. So
yeah,
putting it
this
little
is MCU Daredevil.
I don't give a shit. Like
I don't black suit to this bright yellow suit.
Hey, you could have 5 new 52 comics with the same character. A different artist will draw it differently each comic book. You don't give a fuck. But the MCU now is like your new comics. Like he's gonna look different. He's gonna look different in one show, and he's gonna look different in his show. Get over it.
No.
Look, you love DC. Anyway.
I complained about Red Nightwing when that shit came out.
Yeah. But it happened. And you still read it. You still bought all those issues and read them. You're gonna watch this one at no extra charge than what you're already paying.
Not paying anything.
So look, you're still gonna watch it, like
maybe. Yellow ass Daredevil.
Yeah.
I mean, so you don't like it?
No, I don't care.
I don't like.
I just want to know why it's yellow. I just want to know why he changed it.
I mean, they'll probably talk about it in the show.
No, they're gonna say, "Oh, well, your suit's yellow now." I can't see. I didn't see it. It's gonna be something stupid.
They're not gonna like. It's better if they don't say shit. Like he just looks different there than he does there. Like
then I need to know. Oh, She-Hulk comes out first, and then I think Echo is supposed to come out. So then I need to know: is he gonna wear the yellow suit in Echo? And then his own.
Does Echo come out next?
Yeah,
it's been in the works already, where the Daredevil show was just announced. So, I'm doing the math. Echo's going to come out before the Daredevil TV show. Is my point. I don't know if next or before the Daredevil TV show.
They don't need Daredevil and Echo. Like I'll give them props for trying to put it in, but they don't need Daredevil and Echo.
Yeah,
like
but they already confirmed that he's in it.
But the thing is, they don't need it. Like his part doesn't need to be integral to it because her origin doesn't even have. It has Ronin like instead of Daredevil, so it doesn't like it's not as important. They changed her origin.
the Dungeons and Dragon trailer was stupid.
Yeah, that's
You didn't like it?
No, I mean, I did at first, but then like obviously I don't know any of the lore.
I mean,
everything looked too
like,
clean.
okay. I mean, I don't know. I looked at it and I don't know. It looked fine to me. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like I know I'm not a, huh?
They're trying to do a Vox Machina thing where everybody has a personality, and
But it's a movie. Everyone should have a personality, right?
but that's the thing. It's like because it is Dungeons and Dragons, they're trying to give every party member this. I don't know. It's just not gonna work. Like I think if it was more like the Dungeons and Dragons comics, where you just like have a random story, and you follow the game's lore, but not have to like create a character that people like so that they'll watch a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would work better. I think here they're trying to start a franchise with these motherfuckers.
I think they're trying,
and they're all thieves, right? They're like, it's not even like different classes.
No, it's different classes.
Okay.
Like the main guy is a bard. Michelle Rodriguez is a barbarian. The one guy is obviously a paladin, and it's all different classes. But it feels like
they're all stealing, but they're not all thief class.
That's what you do is you go into dungeons and you take shit, right?
Yeah.
But my point is, it feels like, first of all, I think it's gonna be better than the last Dungeons and Dragons movie. I would say that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be better.
Given, yeah.
But it feels like it's one of those movies where they're just gonna start throwing in stuff from Dungeons and Dragons to like get people to go, oh look, that was that. Like, but it doesn't make sense. Like they threw in an owlbear, but a druid doesn't turn into an owlbear because it's a monstrosity, not a beast. Whatever, I'm getting technical. Then like
no, but that's what it is. Like you have to though.
That they jump into to escape another creature, but if you jump into a gelatinous cube, you're pretty much gonna die. Like you're not supposed to jump into it. So like it just feels like they just threw this stuff in to get people go, jerking off or whatever they're doing. Like, oh look, there's the gelatinous cube. Oh. And I don't like when they do that. When they just throw stuff in to appease people, but it doesn't make sense to the story. If you throw it in, but it makes sense, I'm fine with it. That's great. Do that. That's what you're supposed to do. But you're just throwing it in a matter that's not even consistent with the lore. I'm out. You've ruined it. I'm done.
So you're out of the Dungeons and Dragons movie because they included something that's actually from the games, but not in the right way.
Right.
So it would have been better for them to do like what the last Dungeons and Dragons movie did and just like not put anything from the games in it.
Look, just try to make an awesome fantasy movie.
Yeah. Just make it
that would have been better. Like but you just said that this movie is probably going to be better than the last one.
It's like how Miss Marvel isn't an Inhuman and doesn't have stretchy powers.
Mm-hmm.
I like the show, but it loses points because it's nothing like the original lore. And I honestly, I think I like the show mostly because I think the main actress is talented.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think she wins us over. Yeah,
I think without her, the way that show is written, it'd be a piece of crap.
But you don't really think so? Like, I mean, because don't get me wrong, I feel like the show's better for having her. But I feel like the show, like, if you had a less talented actress, only a little bit less, I don't know that it'd be terrible without that actress because it's like I would
have enjoyed it. Whether you want to call that terrible, or to me, anything I don't enjoy is terrible. I'm not like I don't actively have to hate it for it to be terrible.
Like you can't take yourself outside of it and be like it's still good even though it's not for me.
No, I can try.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair.
I try to do that with my reviews. I mean, you've heard me. There's a lot of times that I hate something, but I understand why people would love it. And
right.
No, not for that show.
Not for that though. Okay, and that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, like friggin' Marvel announced like all types of ridiculous stuff. I did look at the the thing, and yeah, it does say that Echo is actually summer of 2023. So that does put it before Daredevil, which is at this point spring of 2024.
I gotta
So
wait
yeah,
till 2024.
that's what they're saying.
That's
So
what
That better be
Maybe
old
him
man
through the-
Daredevil. Like that better be old man Daredevil universe.
so yeah, in 2023, we're getting Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania. We get Secret Invasion on Disney Plus. We get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3,
Who cares?
Echo on Disney Plus, and we're also getting Loki Season 2, and The Marvels in July of 2023, Blade in November of 2023, and then in the fall we get Ironheart, and then that's on Disney Plus as well. And then they do have Agatha, Coven of Chaos on Disney Plus, set as winter of 2023/2024, and then we have spring 2024 for Daredevil Born Again, and then Captain America New World Order for May of 2024.
Don't they have a Black Knight TV show too?
I
No.
don't think that's happening. They were supposed to have him somewhere, or in Blade or some shit. But
Yeah, he'll show up someplace else, but not,
after that movie, they're not doing shit with him.
I thought he had a show.
No,
I don't think so. Like, he might end up being an Avenger, which, in 2025 is when we get Fantastic Four, and then Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars. So that's basically all the stuff Marvel announced over the course of Comic-Con. So going into Phase 5 and Phase 6. So yeah, it's crazy because Phase 6, they only announced those movies. There's probably going to be some Disney Plus shows in there somewhere. Maybe Black Knight for all we know, but probably not. So yeah. So I mean, it's interesting because I kind of feel like part of it, like, if there wasn't the pandemic, I feel like the calendar would be different, and we probably would have gotten some of this news earlier than later. Like, we would have had a better idea of what was happening in Phase 4 and how that was all going to go, versus what we ended up getting, which was kind of like, we announced some of this stuff and some of that's happening and some of it isn't, and it felt a little like, I know people kind of feel like Phase 4 is a little disconnected. If we'd had the roadmap beforehand, maybe we would have felt different about it. But
Well, a lot of the releases got like moved around, right? So
right, and that's the point I'm making.
And then they did reshoots to kind of make it fit to the timeline of the movies. So yeah,
right,
everything got all messed up.
Right. So I feel like that all is a kind of a side effect of what happened in regards to the pandemic.
I think technically Quantumania is what kicks off the Kang saga, right? I mean, I know he was in Loki, but I think
that wasn't Kang.
Yeah. Like,
there was a statue of Kang at the end of Loki.
Right. But people kind of say, they kind of feel like the version of the character, which is what is it? He Who Remains? Is that how? Is that what it is? He Who Remains is almost like a version of Immortus, more so than
it's a variant of Immortus.
Kang. And so
it's the more like altruistic one that wants to keep the order.
Right.
And because he's gone, then you get Kang and Immortus.
Quantumania actually has like actual Kang
in it. Right.
So
I'll be the judge of that.
and
I just watched that like Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode the other day, the Kang episode. Fucking amazing. If they can't do that,
really good.
If they can't do that, like that's the perfect way to do it. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll see.
Yeah, and that's really what it boils down to. Like, we'll see how it all turns out because, you know, supposedly you have Kang and Quantumania, and you know that's your kind of like, you know, the lead in that kind of teases him going into those movies for the, well, I guess I can't even say the following year because
That's like 3
technically,
years from now.
well, it's not 3 years. It's because if that's 2023, then the Kang Dynasty movie is 2025, so it's 2 years technically. But
From now?
and no, not from now,
From
but
I said from
Quantumania.
now.
yeah, but now isn't the starting point. Like
Now is when
we're
I
talking,
want it. So it's got to be the starting point.
no, it doesn't have to be just because you want it.
Yes, it
The
does.
starting point can be from when we actually see Kang.
By the
So
way, everybody's talking about Kang in Quantumania. Nobody's talking about MODOK.
Nobody cares
yeah,
about
Like, okay,
I mean,
is it just I'm the one that cares? I guess
I don't think you're the only one, but
it feels like
yeah,
I'm the only Marvel guy here that's talking
no,
about
whatever,
MODOK.
whatever. But
Well,
I
like you have to be because you can't even be like the DC guy.
listen,
I can't argue with that point.
Like you have to be a Marvel. Like you have to keep doing. I'm the Marvel guy. Apparently, I'm the because you haven't brought anything DC in like 6 months.
Neither has
it's-
DC. Like, is it all they did at the Comic-Con was like a couple of trailers?
Yeah, again,
And
yeah. It's
listen,
DC's fault.
trailers is all. There's not. Listen, I'm not gonna knock trailers. Like that's what you're supposed to do at Comic-Con.
That's how you
And
know
and, and
DC's fucking up. Where Marvel's announcements of hypothetical because we might get hit by an asteroid, we might not have water in California in like 6 months. Like people are caring about that, but then DC has trailers like we filmed this is coming out, and nobody get it. People care more about the Blade announcement than they do DC shit.
and keep in mind, like, you know, we didn't get to see it because we weren't in a Hall H, but they had a lot of footage. Like there was Quantumania footage, there was Secret Invasion footage, there was Guardians footage. I don't know that there was any footage from anything beyond that. That's all the 2023 stuff. No, that's not true. Because technically Echo and Loki and the Marvels, that's all 2023. I don't know that they had any Blade footage or anything like that either. But those movies or those shows that are coming up first, where you're talking about Quantumania, Secret Invasion, Guardians, they had footage. We just haven't seen it because we weren't there, unfortunately. But I'm really excited for Secret Invasion because Secret Invasion is definitely giving, like, I know some people have said that from what they saw, they're like, it's like a darker Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that sounds pretty cool to me.
I mean,
Like, yeah, it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and, you know, a little bit of that whole like Battlestar Galactica kind of thing because it's literally like you don't know who's a Skrull and who's not. And it's like,
but Skrulls aren't bad in the MCU.
well, in Secret Invasion though, they are.
I guess
Because it's the friggin' crazy sect of Skrulls.
right. I guess Skrulls hit harder in the comics for a reason. They're not gonna hit as hard. They're not gonna hit as hard for me in TV.
Well, look, that's what you say now, but you haven't seen the show.
Like what the fuck? Like, oh, now all of a sudden now I have to like differentiate between now and then.
Who said
I always
that?
want now. I'm talking about now, Larry. Like I live in it now. I don't live then, Larry. Like I respond to things now. I respond to things they tell me about the future now, Larry.
Got it.
The fuck do we
Got
do?
it.
You want me to just like wait and do the show then? Like, is that what you want?
I want you to wait and do the show then, Mo. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And you know, I mean, honestly, like the whole slate feels interesting. I will say, like, given this slate of things, I'm interested to find out, like, are we gonna get cameos from like people in some of this stuff? Like, for instance, like, are we gonna get like okay, so for instance, we got Guardians of the Galaxy happening in May of 2023, right? Like, are we gonna get like Thor in that or no? And it's
Is
like,
there a
not
Thor
that I'm
movie coming out in 2023?
no,
All right.
but I'm more so than anything. It's kind of like there's all these kind of characters that are a bit errant throughout all this time, right? Like, for instance, like like is Doctor Strange going to show up in any of these movies, like or TV shows, like, you know what I'm saying, like because
I
in
think
2020
well, we got evidence now with She-Hulk. Like Wong will come out. I don't think Benedict will come out, but somebody else will come out. Like we might see Rintra. Yeah, whenever a magic person has to like be part of it, like you'll get Rintra or one of these guys.
but it'll feel weird, I think, if like we're talking about, like, obviously, like, Doctor Strange already came out, so nobody's necessarily looking for Doctor Strange to show up this year.
Right.
But if the next time we don't see Doctor Strange is until 2025, that's going to feel weird, right?
Well,
I think we'll see like Wanda show up in a couple things.
Well, Wanda will probably show up in the Agatha TV show, right? But here's the thing. I'm not knocking, like, I want to see Wanda whenever she decides to show her face. But what I'm saying is, like, if we don't see like Doctor Strange until 2025 when those Avengers movies comes out, right? Or if we don't see like Shang-Chi until 2025 when that Avengers movie comes out, like, that's gonna be weird.
I think we'll see Shang-Chi because he's hanging out with Wong right now.
Yeah, but Wong's not. There's no Wong movie or TV show.
He's
in She-Hulk
shows.
Wait, what?
He's
in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Wong's in She-Hulk. You think Shang-Chi is gonna be in She-Hulk?
I mean, I don't think he'll do anything important, but I think he'll like do a cameo or like a.
Honestly,
I think there's gonna be a Shang-Chi.
I'm surprised as fuck
cameo in
like,
She-Hulk.
Like we won't see Shang-Chi till the Avengers. Like
that doesn't make see, and that's what I'm saying. Is that the whole point I'm making? Like, if we don't see Shang-Chi until Avengers, that feels weird.
I didn't even think I'd see him in Avengers.
Why would you not?
I don't know. Like, you know, his movie was good, but he's not an Avenger. Like,
he is. Shang-Chi's been in.
No, he is. I get it. He is. But it's like, yeah,
he is.
It's like Justice League International. Like, yeah.
Not only is Shang-Chi an Avenger, but it's like, if you don't put Shang-Chi in the Avengers, who are you putting in there?
Look, that's a whole other issue. Like, I've been telling, like, we had a whole hour of another episode derailment talking about how like shitty the next Avengers would be because they don't have.
I don't think it'll be shitty because you got
that's why it took a whole hour. I'm not trying to get there. Like, I'm just telling you, like that's my point then, and it's my point now. It's like, you know, I think they're gonna wait till they can resuscitate, you know, Chris Evans and Iron Man.
No, that's crazy talk. Like, and I'm not saying that those guys aren't gonna like show up someplace because I wouldn't. Like, it would not surprise me.
The whole conversation boiled down to asses and seats. Like, right, you're not gonna get a $7 billion movie with Shang-Chi and fucking Sam Wilson and Riri and.
Well, you got Sam Wilson with his whole
right, but you're not like he's not he's not an asses and seats guy. Like, I think that's the lowest rated Disney Plus show was that show.
I don't believe that.
Look, you don't have to, but
Captain, like Falcon and Winter Soldier's the lowest rated Disney Plus show.
I don't know, but I think it is, and I honestly I don't think the only thing they have for asses and seats right now, and it didn't even do it, was Thor. And, you know, so like that They don't have people like that draw factor they had with that original Avengers team. In terms from a business standpoint, not from a character standpoint, not from a story standpoint. The story could be amazing with all these people. Like I love comics. I've read I've read Avengers rosters that I didn't like weren't my favorite Avengers, not one person, and they were good stories, you know, and they were great comics. But this is a whole different game. This is asses and seats, and I don't think they have that many that draw factor. Yeah.
I looked it up. Miss Marvel holds the spot for less for TV series. Less views.
Okay. And what's the
Falcon and Winter Soldier is actually the second highest rated show behind Loki.
No, third. Right. Oh, I guess it's like tied with Moon Knight.
All right.
For second place.
Hey, look, you know.
It's above WandaVision, which I think WandaVision.
Maybe I'm hanging out with the wrong people because they told me they didn't see it. I'm just going by that, and then they buy movie tickets for the whole family. So that's 5. If they didn't see it and they wouldn't go see a movie, that's 5 tickets. They wouldn't.
Here's the thing. I feel like, look, they might watch the Disney Plus show, but when the movie comes out, they're not going to go see the next Marvel movie because it's Sam Wilson's
again, like $100 to watch a movie.
No, but what I'm saying,
I don't. All right, maybe look. I would love to be wrong, but who knows? Like, who knows? I would have loved to be wrong with a She-Hulk sitcom too. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't have.
Nah, it's the ultimate vindication.
All I'm saying is when the latest Marvel movie comes out, everybody at least thinks about going, and you may go or not go for different reasons. But it feels weird to me that somebody would be like, I'm not gonna go see that Captain America movie because it's
what I can't tell you.
It's Sam Wilson Captain America. Like, why would you not go to that?
What I can't tell you is that Marvel does a good job of building shit up and putting the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars so far out will give them time to even like test like, oh, okay, what do we need to do here? Like they could work to make sure that gets to 7 billion while they're giving you all this other shit. So I have faith. I have faith in Marvel for that. And but currently, right now, I don't think they have what it takes to put the ass in the seats. If they had to release it 3 months from now, I don't think they could.
Really? That's interesting. Like, do you feel those same people wouldn't go see Blade?
Yeah, they probably wouldn't. Like, I mean, you're talking about people that I talked to that didn't like Black Panther because they used the word colonizer too much. So, but they saw it, but then they were turned off because of that. They're like, oh, Captain America, Sam Wilson, the black, they felt like they're getting more of that. And they're like, I'm not going to watch it,
See, but that doesn't even make any sense. Like, why would...
Look, I'm not saying they're not ignorant. I'm not saying they're not stupid. Like, you're probably listening, so you're not stupid, but but the thing is, that's just how they do. Like that's what. That's
so crazy.
It is crazy.
Like this fool literally was a costume with the American flag on it.
But I'm not gonna say it's because he's black. Because they said that's not why.
Well, it's definitely because he's black.
Look, this person is a Marine and says, I defend my country. I love it. But something about changing them to that character just didn't feel right.
That's
what I'm saying. But look, there's a lot of them, more of those people than you think, Larry.
Oh, no, not more than I think. I think there's plenty of them. I'm just saying that their arguments don't make sense.
They choose how to watch movies. They choose how to spend their money too. So
I just don't understand why you'd be like, oh, the black dude that is from an African nation thinks the same way as the black dude that's from America. That's a veteran and that wears the flag like literally on his chest. it's like they think the same. It's like
Well,
that's really unfortunate
like
that somebody would think that way.
The look that they have when I say, "Oh, what happened in the comics too?" Because they like their argument is that they don't like that it deviates from the comics. Oh, well, that happened in the comics too, and people are mad about it too. These racist fucks were mad about it because they don't use the race. So I always throw that in there, like, yeah, there's a racist fucks that, and they're like, no, that's not why. And I'm like, hey, I'm not asking why. I'm just telling you that these guys didn't like the comic and you don't like the show, and you have the exact same argument they had then,
right,
you have now, and it's the only factor,
right. That's wild. It's like literally this fool gives a whole speech about why he loves America so much. Some of my best friends
are Captain Americas. Yeah.
Some of my best friends are Captain Americas. So
but that's just some of the people I deal with, Larry. Like, they're movie going audiences too. Like the real color America gives a fuck about is green. You know what I mean? So that's something to think about.
So there's a lot of stuff that happened at Comic-Con that I don't even know if you all are even like aware of. Like, because you all know, like I said before, like we all know that when you go to Comic-Con, you don't see and hear about all the stuff that happens at Comic-Con.
Batman Spawn crossover.
Wait, I didn't even hear about that. There's a new Batman Spawn crossover?
Yeah, Jim Lee and I think Jim Lee, Frank Miller, and Todd McFarlane are working on it.
What?
Yeah. Did you hear about Alan Tudyk being Optimus Prime?
I did hear about that.
Oh, that's what I forgot to bring up too. Oz and I had a really good two dicks on two dick at the bar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was a crossover episode with Gaga for Goggins.
Gaga for Goggins.
Because we spotlighted Alan Tudyk's role in the show Justified, where the villain is Walton Goggins, which is like those two together are amazing. And that show is amazing. Like, Oz spit out his beer when I told him like the villain is like a Canadian mob like heavy hitter, and it's played by Will Sasso. And Alan Tudyk comes and shoots it. And the thing is, the shit works. It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
And Oz just spit out his fucking beer.
I mean, my whole thing was everything he told me about the episode sounded amazing and funny. And I'm like, Justified is not a comedy.
Yeah.
It's like a serious drama. And you got Sasso and Tudyk.
Yeah. Going at it gun to gun. Mano a mano.
But he said it worked.
It
worked. If you pay $1,000 for our Patreon, you can get that episode. Gaga for Goggins and Tudyk's on Tudyk crossover.
So yeah, Transformers Earthspark is the new animated series, and that's where
Tudyk is going to play Optimus Prime, right?
I don't know that it's Gen 2.
Well, I mean, it's their kids, so I see it as Gen 2. I don't know. I don't know if it's like technically, because I know the original were Gen 1.
Right, but there is an actual Generation 2.
That's what I mean. I mean, it's their kids, so to me, it's the next generation. So I see Gen. I just said Gen.
Like,
but I don't.
The timeline's just as fucked as Dragon Ball Z. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously this is a thing that is like I think it's its own kind of thing, but I could be wrong about that. Like, I'm not exactly sure if it follows the
with a name like Earthspark.
Yeah, the continuity of the last Transformers animated series, which I don't think it does, but I think it's its own thing. And I mean, we'll see how it goes. Like, it has some interesting concepts, but ultimately, we'll have to wait and see before we can judge it. So, yeah, I mean, I know we don't really have like a whole bunch of time left to talk about all types of stuff. I will say
over.
Right, exactly, right. So,
we're in sudden death.
Right, exactly. I know that Jim Lee talked about how DC doesn't have any plans to revive the Snyderverse, and people were unhappy about that.
Were they, or were they just bots that they planted in the audience?
I was gonna say, and that goes along with the whole thing where like they've discovering that Snyder may have been in some sort of I don't even know if the right word is scandal, but some sort of like thing where he hired a PR company to begin the whole Snyderverse movement. So, which
that was in that from the beginning. I saw that evolution.
What evolution
of the Snyderverse? The calls for the release of Snyderverse.
They kept doing that.
Saw that it was bots from the beginning.
From the moment they said Joss Whedon was going to do is like, oh, they did the reshoots and all this stuff. Like you started hearing that. But I do think there was a time, like, when the movement really happened during the pandemic, like I think that's when the bots were bought. And, right at the transition, like, okay, there's somebody else buying Warner. I can talk them into it this way,
Mm-hmm.
So it all played out perfectly, and good for him. Not good for anybody that loves DC, like superheroes. But the thing is, the people that love DC super, like the Snyderverse bots are more than actually like the comics, because it's like, I don't know, man. It's a weird fandom for DC.
Yeah,
I like the Snyderverse, but I like the Pattinson stuff too.
I mean, the Pattinson doesn't even really mean anything because that's not a universe. That's just one movie that's good, Then
there's that. DC has huge problems with like a one universe thing. The TV show started to do a connected universe, and then at some point they just said, "Nah."
Yeah,
literally with Superman and Lois, you just said, "Nah, we're not."
It's too many hands in the pot. Like they need to get a new line of credit and get Feige to come over.
They spent years teasing that Diggle would become Jon Stewart Green Lantern, and then he just throws away the ring.
But the thing is, it's like why make Diggle Jon Stewart Green Lantern? His name not Jon Stewart. Like just do a Jon Stewart and fit it into that universe. Like that's the thing. It's like they got the wrong people at the head, and they don't have a single head for everything. They tried to do Berlanti do the single head. Shit got way formulaic after 4 seasons for everything, and it's just not gonna work. Like the ancillary shows that don't really connect end up being the better ones. Yeah,
like Superman and Lois,
Titans. Like whatever problems I had with the Titans is still a better show than the stuff that's connected. Doom Patrol, So
a lot of people don't even know Doom Patrol is a DC show,
right? Yeah, but and that's what's helping it.
I think you're right. Like I want to disagree with you, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, it's like that sounds like some Marvel shit. Like, well, if you read New X-Men, it might be Grant Morrison's New X-Men.
Did you all hear about Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds having a crossover?
Yeah, I'm mad.
Why are you mad?
Because I'm not caught up on Strange New World.
Well, I guess it's got to be a time travel thing because Lower Decks is like a couple hundred years.
Yeah,
it's at least 100 years past Strange New Worlds.
And Strange New Worlds I can actually watch because I'm actually ahead of it because I'm still in like season 3 of the original series. So Strange New Worlds technically takes place before that. But
is Lower Decks 100 years in the future of Strange
because
New Worlds?
TNG was 100 years after original.
Yeah, series. And it takes place like almost not. I wouldn't say alongside the Next Generation, but like a year or two after or something. Like some of the adventures they go on are like some of the adventures from the later seasons of the Next Generation. Like just the support stuff.
In Lower Decks, Tom Paris shows up as a celebrity. So it's after Voyager comes back.
Okay.
I think I lost Lawrence. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. He didn't even know what Voyager is.
No,
You
No,
gotta
I
talk
know what
to
Voyager is.
Tom Paris.
I'm not a big fan.
I
But
don't know no Tom Paris. That was a deep cut. If you got that, good for you.
I mean, like,
You don't know no Locarno. Don't act like you know Locarno. I'm not even
listen,
sure that's his name.
I listen. I can tell you that Voyager is not a show that I watch religiously. So
Locarno
I've
was in
seen an episode or
TNG.
two. Huh?
Locarno was in TNG. You know the episode where Wesley gets in trouble for fucking up a stunt and somebody gets killed?
Yeah.
Nick Locarno was the leader of that squad, and that's the character they wanted to use as Tom Paris in Voyager, but because of some rights complications, they changed his name to Tom Paris.
Well, why would I know that?
Exactly. I don't know why I expected you to know that.
But I'm saying, like, why
I'm
do
the
you
Star
even
Trek
know
guy
that?
on the show too?
Like, why would you know that? Like, there's no good reason to know that. Like,
There is a good reason to know that because it's supposed to be a continuation that links it's supposed to be that character, and that
but it's
his
not.
past comes into.
But it doesn't, because it's not the same character.
But it is.
No, but it's not.
But it is because his father was an admiral, so he had to change his name so he wouldn't be under the shadow. Look, this is a whole another show that we're not going to get into just because you don't understand the lore of the future.
Get in on the action? Call Panther.
I don't know, man.
My point is, unless it's time travel or the holodeck, I don't see why you would have a Strange New World in lower decks.
Yeah.
And I hate when they do time travel because they mess it up.
Okay. Final thoughts.
Harley Quinn starts tomorrow. Go watch that.
Yay. Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Hit subscribe, like, hit the bell, all that, and yeah, I'm glad Oz made it back alive.
Huzzah.
You don't know that.
Despite all my trying.
For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Until then, we are the Fantastic Forum. Have a good night.